It is early, it is chilly, but it is a great day for beat ball, and we thank you for joining us for what is one of the most unique things we get to do on the ISC Sports Network each and every year. And it is an all-Indianapolis affair. Two teams that have won world championships in recent years, the Indy Thunder and the Indy Edge, play for the championship of the 24th annual Beat Ball Bonanza here at North Central High School. My name is Greg Rakestraw, joined by David Benny. Thank you so much. Under a somewhat smoky sky, we welcome you to the north side of Indianapolis. Dave, you were here yesterday for the Indy Thunder's 22-15 win against the Gateway Archers. Always good to be with you. And what are your expectations for our championship get-together this morning?
I think we're going to have an exciting matchup, Greg, between two crosstown rivals who, as you said, have won 7 of the last 8 world championships in the National Beat Baseball Association with the Indy Thunder and the Indy Edge. We saw some exciting beat ball yesterday. We saw a home run. We saw double plays throughout the day, and I expect nothing different this morning between these two high-octane, fast-paced, and just very well-rounded teams.
Our pregame show is a service of Opti Park. Looking for a place to hold your next event or get-together? Come to Opti Park, located in the heart of Broad Ripple. Opti Park is home to baseball, birthday parties, family reunions, and playground fun. Opti Park is a community park, not a city park, run by volunteers for over 60 years. OptiParkIndy.com, provided by the Optimist Club of Northside of Indianapolis, proud sponsor of the Indy Thunder. Well, let's talk about lineups for each of these two teams. And first of all, for the Indy Thunder, who are going through some kind of final paces in terms of their warm-ups here. Both these teams, phenomenal lineups. Cody Jeffries will lead things off. He'll play in short left. Zach Bueller in deep left. Grant Holland in deep right. Aaron C. in mid left. Kyle Adams is the DH, or Kyle Lewis, excuse me, is the DH. He is hitting for Adam Rodenbeck, who'll play in short right. And again, rounding out the lineup today will be Tyler Rodriguez. That is literally a 27 Yankees murderer's row that Darnell Booker has put together for the Thunder this year.
It is. That's a strong lineup from top to bottom. Scoring potential all over that lineup. They've all been all-stars in recent years, and many of them probably will be again this year. Darnell Booker and the Thunder can basically run out about 10 players that could start for most teams in the league. So they're deep, they're talented, and they've just got it all covered with that lineup.
Well, we'll reference a kind of brother versus brother, and two brothers playing together here in the Indy Edge lineup. First of all, Eric Rodriguez. Yes, Eric plays for the Edge. Tyler plays for the Indy Thunder. But then two players that have played for both teams, Corey White and Corian White, will bat second and third for the Indy Edge. Rounding out their batting lineup today will be Grant Simpson, Ja'Cory Wiley, and Joe Fleeks. And I know that having Corian and Corey together is what the Edge have been hoping for, but it hasn't happened that much this season.
No, this is the first we're going to see of Corey. Corian's been playing in the 2 previous tournaments that the Edge have played this year, but this is the first we're going to see of Corey White, much like yesterday for the Thunder when we saw Zach Bueller for the first time, and that didn't stop him. As he had a very good day on both sides of the ball for the Thunder yesterday. You know, Corey, anybody who's watched ISC games before involving the Thunder or the Edge, you know, Corey's one of those. He shows up big for the big games, and so I think that's going to give the Edge an extra shot in the arm to have Corey.
Again, all of these teams played 3 games yesterday. This is our championship get-together of the two teams that won their respective pools. Offense was stellar up and down the lineup for the Indy Thunder. Zach Bueller with 9 runs, Justin Holland with 9 runs, Cody Jeffries with 8 runs. Those were the leading batters a day ago for the Thunder. Yesterday for the Indy Edge, Jock Franco with 10 runs, Corian White with 10 runs, 8 for Ja'Cory Wiley, 8 for Eric Rodriguez, 8 for Grant Simpson. Dave, these two teams combined in 3 games apiece yesterday to score 112 runs. In other words, expect a slugfest.
And these are not, you know, what we would think of as fast offensive-minded fields. Certainly not what we saw in Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago or in Las Vegas back in March. I didn't expect to see that much scoring yesterday. But, you know, when you just look at the balance for the runs scored, that you mentioned, and both of these teams have that balance up and down the lineup. So if one player is struggling a little bit at the dish, all of his teammates are going to pick him up, and they both do that.
Team captains are meeting at home plate. Jason Price is our home plate umpire. Mike Woodard is our field umpire for today's game. This is about the coin flip. Captains on your left for the Indy Thunder: Kyle Lewis, Adam Rodenbach, and Aaron C. Eric Rodriguez, captain on the right for the Indy Edge, meeting at home plate.
And we got a top-notch umpiring crew. Jason Price, of course, is the head umpire, or umpire-in-chief, if you will, for the league. And Mike Woodard is a league umpire, a veteran league umpire who's umped league World Championships and ISC Championship, Indy Bonanza Championship games as well.
When you win the toss, are you always the selection going to be as the home team, so you have the last at bat?
Well, that's the logical choice, but I have seen teams switch it up if they want to try to bat first and maybe try to jump on the other team. But if it was me, I would always want the hammer. I would want the last at bats. So if you win the toss, you're usually going to choose home.
And the Indy Edge won the toss, and they will be the home team in today's game. So Thunder over the Edge is how this one will play out in terms of selections. And again, we've kind of got two distinct audiences. We have those that follow the NBBA on a regular basis and kind of know the schedule, but we also have our casual ISC Sports Network fans, Twitter followers, etc., that are maybe seeing this for the first time. You mentioned events in Las Vegas and Oklahoma. What does the rest of the schedule look like heading into the World Series at the end of July?
So next weekend is another big regional event up in the southwest suburbs of Chicago, Bolingbrook, Illinois, the Bolingbrook Beat Ball Bash. It's an 8-team event. Many of the teams that are here will be there. In fact, 8 of the top 10 teams will be at that event. So it's a strong field from top to bottom. Then you've got 2 tournaments in the East Coast, one in Boston on the weekend of June 21st, one in Philadelphia the weekend of June 28th, and then there's a small 3-teamer in Champaign, Illinois, between the Thunder, the Gateway Archers, and the Chicago Comets. That's also on June 28th. And then pretty much the World Series after that.
The one thing that we have acknowledged, but maybe really haven't talked about yet, Dave, would be the fact of it is surprisingly cold this morning in Indianapolis for June 1st. Temperatures at 8 a.m. are in the upper 40s. What sort of impact, if any, does that have on today's game?
Well, the key is going to be Jeremy Lopez, the pitcher for the Indy Edge, because he's a Texas native and he pitched the San Antonio Jets into a couple of championship games before they disbanded. But it is rumored that he struggles sometimes in the cold. And though this may not be cold, so to speak, for us, this is not Texas warm. He has got to be locked on target, and get fly balls and balls in the air if they're going to keep up with this juggernaut Thunder offense. So we'll see. It could be a factor.
Darnell Booker getting his team fired up before we get to this morning's championship game. Let's also thank some more of our great sponsors that make our broadcast possible. Thanks to Comfort Care Home Care. They want you to know that their focus is to help clients live their best life possible. They're a premier non-medical home care company committed to their clients with their fall risk, dementia care, inclusive ally, and veterans programs. This Comfort Care South Indy office won the 2023 Franchise Office of the Year, and they're a proud supporter of Team Indy Thunder.
This is a rematch. It feels like deja vu all over again. We were here 2 years ago to see the championship game of this tournament between the Edge and the Thunder. I think in that game, some would have said that the Thunder were the underdogs and the Edge were favored coming off a world championship. Thunder won that game, and it sort of springboarded them for what they've done since, because they had been coming off of a rebuild. I think the roles are reversed a little bit. The Edge have a little bit of a revamped roster. The Thunder are absolutely loaded, and so I would say going into this, the Thunder are the favorites, but the Edge have the sort of chance that the Thunder had 2 years ago. So we'll just have to see what happens.
Zach Bueller on your screen now. And again, if you follow the NBBA community, you know about Zach's exploits. But for those that do not, Zach is a blind and visually impaired at an international level. Tell us about it.
He is. He plays another adaptive sport called goalball, which is played indoors on a hardwood floor, and that is a Paralympic sport. And Zach Bueller competed for Team USA in the 2020 Paralympic Games that were actually held, I believe, in Tokyo in 2021. And so he had to miss the drive for 5, as it were, the Thunder's 5th and final championship run, so that he could train and compete in that. So Zach Bueller's a multi-sport athlete. They've got several multi-sport athletes, but he is the internationally known multi-sport athlete and still one of the top left fielders in the game, even despite having to battle off some injury issues.
Again, for our sighted audience, you see the full blindfold because, again, you're going to be legally blind if you are playing this sport, or visually impaired to some degree, but we want to make sure there's a level playing field for all. So again, I could speak to this. My broadcast partner lives this every day. So Dave, explain kind of the different levels of sight impairment, but also the requirement that everybody is completely blind for this event.
So visual impairment exists on a spectrum, and so it can be nothing at all, dark, to what I see, which is basically light perception, being able to distinguish light from dark, to those who can see, a little bit but not very far, or that have really severe tunnel vision, and so they don't have the peripheral. And so to make it even so that everybody who's competing, playing on the field sees nothing, all of the players are required to wear a blindfold. The pitcher and the catcher and the field spotters are the only sighted competitors on the field.
We'll talk about field spotters coming up in matter of moments, but Dave, the conference professional, here's that action is getting ready to ramp up in terms of the field of play, and so away we are about to go. In one of the best things that we do on the ISC Sports Network every year. Honored to be with Dave on this Sunday morning, and thanks to all of our ISC Sports Network crew that got here bright and early on this chilly Sunday morning. Jared Woodard is the pitcher. Darnell Booker is the catcher. Cody Jeffries is at the plate. Went 8 for 13 yesterday with 1 strikeout. First pitch swinging. Contact made. Airborne left side. Rolling and sliding into the base. Safe, and it's a run for the Thunder.
Good start for the Thunder, and you see very first pitch, very solid contact, got some air under it, and so the Thunder look like they're starting out kind of the way that they were playing yesterday.
The ability to get a ball airborne means exactly what in this sport, Dave?
Well, it means a lot because virtually all plays are made while the ball is on the ground in this sport. So if you can get some air under the ball, what it does is it gives the hitter a head start down to the base, because until that ball lands, the defense really can't do much with it.
So Zach Bueller due up next. 9 for 11 yesterday.
And he made an absolutely tremendous play in deep left in the Archers game that Derek Schultz and I did yesterday.
First pitch swinging. How did old Schultz do a day ago?
Oh, we did great. It was wonderful. The Thunder put up 10 runs in the second inning against the Archers, and the Archers were never able to really come back from it.
Strike 2.
But the Archers stayed in the game. The Thunder had a couple of chances to put them in the 12-run mercy rule, and the Archers held them off, and it ended up 22-15.
Dave, we have oscillated at times between 3 strikes and 4. Today we are playing
with 4 strikes. That's currently the league regulations are 4 strikes.
You heard the tap on the left hip of Zach as he let the ball go by. There was his one pass. Swings here, contact made. It will not cross the 40-foot line into foul territory. 3rd strike.
And you'll see a pattern with Jared Woodard and his hitters. If they get to 2 strikes, they will generally take their passed ball on the 3rd pitch.
Hear the call from Jason Price. Swing and a miss. So a strikeout for Zach, first out of the game for the Thunder.
A rare strikeout, and that's a gift for the Edge defense. Jared Woodard, I counted 7 strikeouts total yesterday in the 3 games. So he doesn't strike out many.
So 1 in, 1 out for the Indy Thunder.
Justin Holland was absolutely mashing the ball too yesterday.
Holland went 9 for 10 in yesterday's game. Tell us about Justin, Dave.
He is a North Carolina native. They don't have a team in North Carolina, so he came up with the Atlanta Chaos.
First pitch swinging and a miss.
Played with Atlanta for a few years, went over to the Indy Edge, was a big part of their 2 championships, then played with the Gateway Archers last year, helped them get to a runner-up finish.
Contact made, elevated, middle of the field, and that potentially could be a home run. He's going to score regardless. But did that cross the 170-foot line?
I wonder if they're going to check on it. And Justin Holland is our career all-time home run leader at this point.
I think the indication is he was just short of it. It was close.
Yeah, I think we would have heard a lot of
Yes.
more cheering on the Thunder sideline if that had gone over the line.
Missed it by maybe a foot. So simply a 169-foot run, the second run of the game for the Thunder. So next up is Aaron C. Had a chance to catch up with Aaron before the game today. Went 5 for 9 yesterday to Aaron.
He's also a former Edge. Came up with the Edge, won 2 championships with them, came over to the Thunder last year.
If I remember properly, Aaron is a South Side Indy guy, so swings through that one and misses.
And it just doesn't get any easier now as we get to the bottom part of the order. Aaron was made his first All-Star showcase last year.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
Aaron has home run power as well.
Here's the pass.
Yep. See, so you see a pattern developing now.
Contact made, ball elevated, but won't clear the 40-foot line. In fact, one hop back to the pitcher.
Yeah, we were talking about fly balls, and in beat baseball, they don't even necessarily have to be deep because they're not going to be caught in the air. The last time that happened in a regulation game was in 2003, as I recall. So you can hit 45, 50-foot pop-ups and have just as much of an opportunity to score if you can hang them up in the air for 3 or 4 seconds.
So 3-1 the count. 1 down here in the top half of the first inning. Swing and a miss. So a second strikeout for the Thunder. 2 down.
Wonder if the little bit of cold is affecting them this morning too. That's 2 strikeouts in the first inning, and a lot of times they'll have 2 strikeouts in an entire game. Now you got your only lefty.
Kyle Lewis yesterday went 4 for 7. Had 2 strikeouts. Getting those sounds here, the testing of the 2 bases, so Kyle knows. And kind of put that to mental reference. Contact made, elevated. Just shy of the, and he'll have it.
Not the greatest base run, I don't think either. Somebody went up, came up and picked that. Was that Eric or on the other side?
And that will be a run.
Oh, they did call it a run.
Correct. Just got the base on the way by. Did Kyle. Fielder.
Well, I'm 0 for 1 today.
Was Malloy that was in the field that just couldn't get to it in time. Here's Rodriguez for the Thunder. So they've completed their first trip through the 8-man lineup.
So now when you have a player like Tyler in the 6th spot, and this was his spot for those Thunder championship teams as well. His job now is to score by any means necessary with 2 outs to get the top of the lineup back up.
4 for 6 yesterday. Contact made, elevated, base on the third base side, and that will nestle down just past the 40-foot line, and Rodriguez is safe, make it 4 for the Thunder.
That is an important run. Now you get back up to the top with Jeffries and Buehler and Holland, and this is how the Thunder can put up big innings and crooked numbers. Edge still looking for their first put out, and sometimes that's all the defense needs to kind of get into the game, although I would say the runs that have scored have been on elevated balls. None of them would have been easy plays.
So here's Jeffries. Also was the leading defender yesterday for the Thunder. Had 15 putouts in yesterday's game. So got a momentary pause in the action. Let's thank our friends at Simplified Insurance Solutions. Health insurance experts offering Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans, prescription drug plans, dental, vision, and hearing coverage. Located in Lawrence, call Latrice Jeter today at 888-340-7633. Doing a base check down what would be the third base line.
Cody Jeffries is currently ranked number 2 on our unofficial player rankings that we update every month, just behind Mark Morris of the Gateway Archers. I think 8 of the top 10 are playing in this game for one team or the other.
In 4 games going on simultaneously.
Gateway Archers and Philly Fire, they played for the title here last year. They're playing for third this year.
Second at bat for Jeffries. Foul ball.
Oklahoma Lookouts and the all-women's team, the St. Louis Sirens, are playing for 7th. Chicago Comets and Cleveland Scrappers playing for 5th. That's an old rivalry.
Swing and a miss. Second strike.
Scrappers and Comets have been going at it for about a quarter century.
Pass on 2 strikes. There's the pass. Contact made, elevated, right side. Base, right side. Jeffries just got him. Edge get the out, and the inning comes to an end. 7 batters to the plate, 4 score. Edge come to bat. We'll step aside briefly on the ISC Sports Network.
When a visit to the eye doctor ends in a diagnosis of blindness or visual impairment, Bosma Enterprises is there, providing low and high-tech tools that let adult Hoosiers keep living at home, and training that teaches people with vision loss how to cook meals, travel around their homes and towns, and continue their employment. Because the need for independence never fades, even when the sense of sight does. Bosma Enterprises. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org.
Might help.
So the Indy Thunder starting to get their fielders aligned. Well, I think we may actually get a look at that last play. So we're going to have a replay challenge, looks like.
I thought that was a pretty close play. I was wondering if they would maybe want to look at it. It sounded like both sidelines thought that they had carried the day on that play. So many of these players on both sides, Rake, have played together on one team or the other. North side of Indy, south side of Indy, doesn't matter. You talked about Eric and Tyler Rodriguez. They're brothers. They won 5 championships together with the Thunder. And then Tyler moved to Philly. All he did in a couple years with Philly is take them to their first world championship ever. And then he moved back, came back to the Thunder. And Eric, of course, has won 2 championships of his own with the Edge. So right now, Eric's got a total of 7 world titles. Tyler's got 6. And don't think Tyler doesn't know that.
For our sighted audience, again, what actually may help the Edge in this scenario is that Jeffries had slid to some degree past the bag. I thought potential for that ball was elevated. I think I did hear the call of safe, so we'll have to realign fielders, and the Thunder will keep their inning going. So after the challenge, make it 5 for the Indy Thunder.
Well, that could be huge. The Edge now just need to focus. I mean, when you think you're out of the inning and then you're not, that can have an effect. So they've got to lock in.
To make it 5 out of 7 here for the Thunder.
And this isn't going to be easy now with Buehler here.
Zach did strike out his first at bat.
Yeah, I'm betting against him doing that again. He tends to do that maybe 3 or 4 times a season. Buehler came up in 2016. His first 5 seasons, not counting the 2020 shortened season, he was a world champion. A nice way to start out a career. Of course, those Thunder teams had Buehler, the White brothers, and the Rodriguez brothers, Kyle Lewis, and basically a bunch of players you're seeing in this game today. Adam Rodenbeck, Miguel Tello was a big part of it. Gerald Dicus, who's coming off the Thunder bench right now. And Jared Woodard and Jeremy Lopez have squared off when Lopez was a San Antonio Jet. So they're familiar foes. I think we are working on a base.
Just making sure it is aligned properly and sounding properly. Taken care of by Kyle Lewis.
It sounds good, but what you want to make sure is that the speaker is facing toward home plate, so that the hitter who's listening to that base hears the sound properly, because that's all he's depending on to run to it.
We're ready. Contact made, ground ball up the middle. Buehler flying down the line, and he's got it.
Somebody needs to lock down that middle for the Edge. Buehler's fast, but when you get one on the ground, somebody's got to come over there and cover that. They got to pick up the ground balls in this game.
So a 6-run top of the first for the Thunder.
Now the Edge can score them in bunches too, so I think what you said earlier, I think slugfest is probably going to be accurate here. It's going to take some runs to win this game.
Here's Justin Holland. Scored his last time up. It was just shy of hitting a home run.
And he wants it. He's got 1 home run on the season. Kyle Lewis has 2, including his homer yesterday.
Swing and a miss.
So there's a little competition now between Holland and Lewis as they've hit the 3 home runs for the Thunder so far this season. Home runs are very rare.
Contact made, elevated right side, and close play, deemed to be an out.
I heard out called on the field. Holland went opposite field. That was a nice play over there by the Edge defense.
We'll take another look just to be sure.
I don't think so. I think this is going to be the end of the inning.
And hand was on the ball.
The ball has to be off the ground, under control, and away from the body for the put out to be recorded. Those are the elements.
Hand on the ball has it. Elevated might be the question.
For possession to be determined, all 3 elements are supposed to be present. Now, sometimes the ball, is it off, just off the grass tops, or is it? And you hear sometimes a lot of communication on the field, and it sounds like they're goofing off, but there is a method to that madness. These players are all playing by sound. So when they're out there doing sing-song, cat calls, or what they're doing, what they're really doing is communicating with their teammates, especially on defense. That way everybody knows where everybody is before the play begins.
So that is the end of the inning. So we'll see the Indy Edge to the plate. And you're identifying, hey, this is where I'm at. So you have an audio representation.
And they have fun with it. I mean, when I was playing, we just called out numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have all sorts of different ways they communicate. I don't understand their language, but they do.
Here's Eric Rodriguez at the plate. Eric went 8 for 14 yesterday. So 6-0 our score. First pitch swinging. Foul ball.
Eric had a little bit of a tough year last year by his standards. Didn't quite put up the numbers that we're used to seeing from him, but boy, did he look comfortable down in Oklahoma a couple weeks ago as the Edge won that tournament.
Swing and a miss.
Four strikes, and you're allowed to take the one pass ball. They played under 3 strikes in Oklahoma.
Elevated, left side. Bounding ball, and he'll be safe. Zach Buehler couldn't track it down.
So Erod does his job. Good start for the Edge. And so Lopez may be answering one question as he gets his first hitter to base. Maybe the cold won't affect him as much. Of course, Eric Rodriguez, one of the best. Now, Jeremy Lopez pitched for the Edge in the Sooner State Invitational a couple weeks ago. They played that entire tournament under modified rules, 3 strikes, due to time and weather concerns. Jeremy Lopez still had above 80% contact with his Edge hitters at that tournament, even under 3 strikes. So he's prolific.
Corian White.
Get ready for some speed. Him and Corey can just burn up the base paths.
Wearing number 33 this morning. Foul ball. First strike. Corian yesterday, 10 runs and 17 plate appearances.
They're all over the ball. Just need to put it in play.
Swing and a miss. Third strike. Contact made. Right side. Fair ball.
Tough play.
Has it. So 2 batters to the plate, 2 runs scored.
You know, the Thunder might have been able to make a play on that if it had been just about anybody else in the league, but Corian is just so doggone quick. Now we're going to see our first at-bat from Corey White of this season. Didn't know if he was going to be here this morning or not. Got here, and here he was. Hey, he has home run power, by the way, as we know.
We have seen that on the ISC Sports Network before.
We've seen it at the World Series, too. Hit the most memorable home run, certainly, in the league history. Our only walk-off. And it was on the biggest stage of all.
Swing and a miss.
Corey White ended the 2021 World Series with one mighty swing of his bat with a 181-foot home run, which counts for 2.
Swing and a miss.
To turn the game around. It was 7-6 San Antonio when Corey came up. It was 8-7 when he hit the base. Just an unbelievable moment.
There's the pass.
So they're doing it too. They get a couple strikes, they're taking one.
Contact made. Elevated left side. Bouncing ball. Safe.
There it is, 3 straight on the board from the former Thunder Dynasty players. Rodriguez, Corian, and Corey White. And they cut the lead in half already, Rake. Nobody out. That's speed too. That's elevated ball. get it over the front line, and run straight to the base. He's going to score 99% of the time when he does that.
So Grant Simpson now to the plate. Tell us about Grant.
Grant Simpson was a rookie last year with the Bayou City Heat out of Houston, Texas. He made the All-Star showcase last year as a rookie. He was our Rookie of the Year. Came over to the Edge with Jeremy Lopez.
Simpson 8 for 13 yesterday. Had 2 strikeouts.
Grant's a good-looking young player on both sides of the ball. I think he's still developing his defense a little bit, but he's got a bat. And they like complete silence before the play begins.
Ground ball up the middle. Diving effort and out. Play made in the field by Cody Jeffries.
Now, you're not going to get the ball past Cody on the ground very often, as the Archers found out yesterday. I think Cody had 9 or 10 putouts in that game yesterday afternoon here on ISC. That's a big out for the Thunder defense. But this is important now for the Edge. We saw what the top 3 in their lineup could do. The bottom 3 is this Texas contingent now that are fairly new to the Indy Edge. And so we'll see if they can hold up their end of the batting order because, as we saw, the Thunder have scoring potential all over their lineup.
Ja'Cory Wiley due up next. He was 8 for 15 yesterday. Did strike out 5 times.
Ja'Cory, another one, former Bayou City Heat. In fact, Ja'Cory was around and was a big part of Bayou City's second runner-up run in 2018, losing to the Thunder. So Ja'Cory is familiar with competing against the Indy Thunder as well. Good speed.
Fouled straight back. Actually fouled right to the catcher. He's allowed to catch that with no detriment to his team, by the way. We're not playing, banana ball rules here. So
correct.
Contact made, ground ball, left side, directly at Cody Jeffries. But he knocked the ball down and then unfortunately went the wrong way to track it down.
Oh, no, I'm going to hear about this from Cody, too, the broadcaster jinx. I just said he doesn't let anything by on the ground. But it's tough, and, there may be dew on the grass, too, and so you may be dealing with a little bit of a wet ball.
I think there might be an issue with noise from the ball.
Well, if it is a dead ball, if the umpire can't hear the ball, it is a no pitch, and it's a replay.
Correct.
They don't get a new count. I gave my opinion about that yesterday afternoon on the ISC on our broadcast, but it will go back to a new pitch, same count.
And which would be the reason why Cody all of a sudden went the opposite direction of the ball.
That might explain it. So what they do is they'll bring him back, and he will come back up with the same count.
Which was a strike and no pass.
So I'm in favor of giving him a new count on a dead ball because most of the time when a ball dies off the bat, it's a strong hit. Not always, but ordinarily the detriment's going to be to the hitter in that situation. As it is, though, with 1 strike. Cody still almost made that play on a dead ball. So they're testing out the bases.
You noted earlier, again, trying to make sure the speaker is pointed towards the plate. Contact made right side in fair territory. Adam Rodenbeck able to lift the ball, but I'm not sure he got there in time.
I think Ja'Cory beat that out. Edge were acting like it.
So Wiley with the base hit and run scored.
It's a nice response. Now let's see what their 6-hole hitter can do. So they've gotten 4 back now with 1 out. Joe Fleeks, another former Bayou City Heat player.
Fleeks 4 for 12 yesterday. Did strike out 6 times.
So you see the mix of, the Texas recruits and the local players on the Indy edge, and they don't have a couple of theirs this weekend. One of the league's top young prospects, Caleb Wright, isn't here, and Brandon Chesser, another one of the Texas players, isn't here. But they've got most of theirs, and the Indy Thunder have all of theirs. They have all of their personnel, and they're healthy, reasonably healthy. They were able to rotate a lot of players in and out yesterday, and so there's not going to be any fatigue issues or anything like that.
And frankly, because the weather has been so relatively cool, temperatures were in the upper 60s, low 70s yesterday. Conditions were not too bad to play 3 times in one day.
Oh, it was gorgeous. A little breezy at times, but otherwise picture perfect.
So number 6 hitter due up here.
Now, when the Thunder's number 6 hitter came up, they had 2 outs. The Edge only have 1, so maybe not quite as much pressure on Fleeks. He's not as fleet of foot as his comrades, but he can hammer the ball. He played prep football before losing his vision, and I wish I could remember the team out there in the Houston, Texas area that he played for, but they were pretty good.
Foul ball. Contact made, elevated, left side, diving to get it, lining it up, Zach Bueller.
I think Bueller got him.
Second out of the inning.
That was a great play, man. And Bueller knows how to line it up. That's, part of that is the goal ball background, getting the body down, getting the body on the ball. This is, hands play in beat ball, you may get style points, but really the idea is to block the ball, pick it up, and get it off the ground.
Eric Rodriguez up for a second time. Swing and a miss.
Erod, the youngest player, the youngest person ever to be inducted into the Beep Baseball Hall of Fame.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
He was inducted last year, and, he's been playing and doing his thing for so long because he started so young that people don't realize he's still in his mid-20s.
Contact made right side, but foul. So 3 strikes. Contact made, elevated, left side. Rodriguez, Bueller. Couldn't get there in time. Good Bueller.
Well, there was star power on both sides of the play. And those two were teammates for so many years. That was just a really interesting play to watch go down, but Eric got the better of it that time.
Bueller just couldn't grab it in time. That one kind of fumble of the ball. And Rodriguez barrels over the base for his second run of the day.
This is high-level beat baseball here. This isn't defenses really making errors. This is, high, hard, catch me if you can type of thing.
Corian White for his second at bat. Scored his first time through.
He could tie this game.
Swing and a miss. Ground ball, left side. Past one fielder, and picked up Aaron C.
Had his back. That's a nice play by Aaron C. Usually if a ball gets past the front line defenders on the ground, Corian's going to be okay to score the run. Nice play by C. They needed it. So the Thunder win the inning, but I think Jeremy Lopez just answered any questions we might have about how the cold weather is affecting him. It's not.
So 6-5 through 1. Let's thank our friends at Tito's for their sponsorship of today's contest. Tito's Handmade Vodka. Love Tito's program has a goal of turning spirits into love and goodness, and does so by joining forces with nonprofits to host events, participate in service projects, and give back to their communities in meaningful ways. Tito's paved the way in the early days by donating his vodka to a local nonprofit events. Now Tito's continues to empower employees, customers, and fans to make the world a better place through love at Tito's. Thank you, Tito's, for your support. Greg Rakestraw, Dave Benny with you. Thanks to our crew getting up early this morning on the ISC Sports Network. Okay, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back in a moment on ISC.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to keep living at home. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
So Aaron C. will lead things off here for the Indy Thunder. Thanks to Jordan Shue, Caleb Gross, Sierra Borkowski, the Kyle Donlin, Greg Sharton, David Kahn, Dalton Cox, all of our ISC Sports Network crew regulars making sure our signal gets to you on this early Sunday morning. Our crew yesterday produced 4 different events around the state of Indiana.
Y'all do such a wonderful job with that. I know I'm a big prep sports fan, especially football, and so I live in Illinois, so it's all prep sports, thanks to the IS.
So C struck out last time. Out of the inning, had 4 left side, fair ball. C headed towards the base on the other side. Rodriguez picks it up.
That's an Eric Rodriguez put out. And that's what you don't want to do if you're Jared Woodard and the Thunder hitters, is start rolling ground balls over Eric Rodriguez's way.
That's my story.
Let's see if the defenses start picking up here. We had 11 runs combined between the two teams in the first inning.
And again, a clear out.
But unlike the Thunder, who struck out a couple in their half of the first, the Edge were really making the Thunder defense make plays.
Kyle Lewis, run scored last time up in his 1 plate appearance. Elevated, center of the field. Corian White close to it.
He got him. Corian, I think he got Kyle Lewis on that.
So Kyle Lewis missed the bag on the way by.
He's having trouble, and he missed a couple yesterday. He also hit a home run, so, I mean, it's been feast or famine, but if there was one thing that the Thunder struggled with a little bit in the game against the Archers that we saw yesterday afternoon, it was base running. They had a couple of close calls, and they missed a base when they had a chance to put the Archers down for the count and into the 12-run mercy rule, and missed a base to end an inning. So, and Booker in his postgame, he mentioned it in his postgame interview with us, he was not too pleased with it.
So Tyler Rodriguez at the plate. That pitch by Jared Woodard just to make sure the beat ball is working properly. Does not count as the pass there.
Now, I'm not sure. You can tell me if Kyle Lewis would have been out anyway.
Safe.
He would have been. So there you go. So that's the first real major mistake by either team, because you turn a run into an out when you don't make contact with that base. And you don't get a second chance. You know, sometimes they can come back, turn around, and hit it. But with these defenses, if you do that, you give them a couple extra seconds, you're out.
Elevated, middle of the field.
That's a tough play.
And this, out.
Got him again.
3 up and 3 down. That's Dobbs that made the play in the field for the Indy Edge.
And that is huge. Three putouts by 3 different defenders in a 3 up, 3 down inning. Hang a star on that inning for the Indy Edge. My goodness.
We'll take a quick timeout. We'll show you the replay going to break. 6-5 lead for the Thunder, but no runs in the second as you're watching on ISC.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to keep living at home. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired. Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to continue their employment. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
Today's game on ISC is brought to you by Bright Ideas Consulting. Your logo on everything under the sun, now with a new location at 9855 Cross Point Boulevard, Suite 116 in Indianapolis.
Well, let's see now how the Thunder defense responds to that 3 up, 3 down inning by the Edge defense. Yeah, 6-5 game, and now the Edge as the home team have the hammer. And Corey White coming up.
You would think it'd be rare for either of these two teams to put up a goose egg in an inning.
Well, as you see, they both have the defenses that are capable of doing it. Of course, the missed base didn't help. But, you know, sometimes you'll start out with hot bats, and then all of a sudden it'll come down and the defenses will step up.
Corey a run in his first plate appearance. Contact made, elevated right side. Bit of a stumble out of the batter's box, but with his speed, does not matter.
He got enough air under it. And footing can be tough. You know, this grass is a little thick, and it's a little longer than maybe what we're used to, which makes it a sort of, you would think, a more defensive field. But sometimes when you're trying to get out of the batter's box, especially, you know, in the morning where it may be a little...
Air ball, Aaron C. Got it, out. Solid contact, but Aaron C. gets his second put out, 1 down.
So it is the mid and backline defenders that are going to be keys in this game, because both offenses have the capability to take the short players kind of out of the game. The short players need to make the plays that they should make, but it's the Aaron C's, Justin Hollins, and then on the other side, you know, the Miguel Tellos and Jason Dobbses that are really going to decide this in terms of defense.
So again, last inning defensively, Miguel Tello was in, replacing Grant Simpson. Then at the plate, Franco came in to bat in Tello's spot in the lineup.
Correct, and there is a re-entry rule, so he will have to sit out 6 outs, and then they can bring Miguel Tello back in for defense, and I sense that if this keeps going the way it is now, that's exactly what they're going to do.
So here's Ja'Cory Wiley. Contact made, right side. He runs left side. Past Rodenbach, Holland dives, can't get there in time.
The one who was going to need to make that play was Rodenbach, and it wouldn't have. I mean, it wouldn't have been an easy play. But by the time it rolls on the ground out into Justin Holland territory, it's just too late.
So Jacory, 2 for 2 today. The ball just bounced past Adam Rodenbach. And Holland made the effort, but just couldn't get there in time. So the Edge have the lead for the first time at 7-6. Here's Joe Fleeks, and very similar to Franco the last bat, made really good contact, just happened to hit it towards a Indy Thunder defender. Swing and a miss, just over top of that one from Fleeks.
And you could hear the whoosh from his bat through the field, Mike. He's got quite a powerful swing.
You were saying it's an absolute rope, but again, unfortunately for Joe, Aaron C. has been a magnet. That is a third ball hit right at him.
That's an Adam ball. Instead of hitting it to Adam, though, he hit it to Aaron. As the defenses you're seeing are starting to pick up here now, as both these teams are getting into the groove of this game.
5 putouts. There's no strikeouts so far for the Edge. The last 3 have been made by Aaron C.
And the Thunder in return, after coming out a little bit slow with the contact and striking out 2 in the first, they made the Edge field balls too. Well, you're seeing high-level beat ball here. This is just an excellent showcase of pretty much the top level of competition you're going to see. And it's really a compliment to the Indy programs that we've got 2 Indy teams that are this prolific.
Again, Joe crushed that, so they had to get the beat ball out of play. That's how hard he hit that. That was as solid of contact as we have heard the entirety of the game. So 2 down. 5th batter to the plate this inning. Rodriguez bats for a 3rd time. Elevated contact, right side. And I think he's out. I think Holland got that.
Wow, that's huge if he did. Over there on the right field side, Eric going oppo. Yep, 6 deep got that put out. Boy, they're picking up they're picking up the intensity. This is a good one here.
You just got that ball off the field as Rodriguez barreled into the bag. So Edge do jump back in front. However, both teams kind of limited as to what they could do in inning number 2. Let's thank our friends at EverythingBroadRipple.com, a proud sponsor of the Indy Thunder. EverythingBroadRipple.com is your one-stop site for the Broad Ripple Gazette, Random Ripplings, local news, calendar listings, maps, and local business directories, as well as all of our Broad Ripple histories, stories, and photos. And speaking of Broad Ripple, it's one of the places you can find a location of the Shop Indy. And, of course, meaning the brick-and-mortar location. Now, there's the one downtown where Mass Avenue meets College Avenue. They've got a location in Carmel as well, and always available online at theshopindy.com. And David has adopted us as an Illinois guy, but for our love of Indiana sports. I'm not sure if he's done that with the Pacers. But in case you missed it last night, rather monumental night in the history of the Indiana Pacers, qualifying for the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years. Get all your Pacers gear, including our boy Jake Query's Why Not Indiana t-shirt when you log on to theshopindy.com.
I saw the second half of that game last night, and the Pacers not only won, but they looked pretty dominant. So it's been a big last couple of weeks for sports in Indianapolis.
Jeffries swings and misses. So this is his 3rd time up. And it was side retired in order in the top of the 2nd.
Let's see what they can do here.
Contact made, right side, foul ball. And obviously you'll have players on the team that will call out foul just to save the effort of the runner in terms of trying to go towards one of the bases.
And they're allowed to do that as long as, make sure if you do that, you're right. I have seen pitchers tell a batter, stay here, because they thought it was a grounder that they thought wouldn't make 40, and then it did.
Pass on 2 strikes. Contact made, ground ball up the middle. Jeffries flying down the line, and I believe he got there in time.
He scored.
Good effort by Simpson trying to get to that ball, but just couldn't get there in time.
So far, it seems like the middle of the edge defense is the place to go for the Thunder. And I think they're asking for a challenge.
Correct.
I'll go ahead and take a look at the film and make a call for you.
All right, so contact with your feet with the base is equal to contact with your hands with the base, correct?
Correct. Now, what you can't do, contact with the cord is not. So if there's a cord or some part of the base and you pull it down or something like that, then no. But if any part of your body contacts the base, you're good to go.
Jeffrey slid into the base of the vertical base, if you will.
I don't like, and I wouldn't teach sliding into the base in meatball. I don't think you pick up any extra speed. Nobody's throwing to the base or trying to tag you. I think you actually lose speed doing that. Though your best bet is just to run straight through it as if it were a tackling dummy.
So the challenge used by the Indy edge, but safe is the call. So we're tied at 7.
The extra point is good, if you will.
Jeffrey's a perfect 3 for 3 today. Zach Buehler 1 for 2 today, does have a strikeout. And 2 strikeouts in the first inning for the Thunder, all successful putouts defensively in the second inning. Swing and a miss. Here's the pass. Let's count it 2-1. Contact made, left side. Base, right side. Past one defender, Buehler flying. Got there before the defender could pick it up, and Wiley run for the Thunder. They lead 8-7.
So you see the first 2 pitches were clean swing and misses. They took the pass ball and made sure that the timing was down, sort of as a reset. And then the third one is right there. There's their run. So back in front for the Thunder.
And with Buehler's speed, you've got about 3 beats to get the ball, because if not, he's going to be on the bases. Here's Holland.
Zach's had a couple of knee surgeries. Somebody did a really good job with him, because it doesn't look like he's really lost a step.
Holland 1 for 2 today. Ground ball, left side. Base, left side.
Eric.
Rodriguez chases. Couldn't get there in time.
Oh, he was moving away from him.
Just rolled past him a little bit. Thunder have strung together 3 consecutive runs to start the inning.
You've got to get as many ground balls as possible, because these teams elevate the ball so much, and there's so many balls that are really just not playable.
Ball just hopped a couple of times, and Rodriguez couldn't corral it. Holland. Frankly, Rodriguez was also hearing Holland coming down that line. Those two were not far apart on that play.
And that can make it tough, especially when that base is on. So when you get a ground ball down the line on the same line that the baseline that the base turns on, it makes it a little extra tough on the defender.
Aaron 0 for 2 today.
Plus, with a player like Justin Holland or so many others, you know, the defense, as a fielder, you got this ticking clock in your head, knowing you got to make the play, because you got a speedy base runner chugging down the line.
See the pass, 2-1. Swing and a miss. So he's struggled at the plate. However, he has been phenomenal in the field.
Well, and it only takes 1 here.
Contact made, right side. base right side. That will just nestle and stay into fair territory, and C barreling down the line. It's the second consecutive play where the fielder had to deal with both ball and sound of runner charging at him. Aaron gets the run, make it 4 in a row for the Thunder.
It only takes one, and there it was on a full count. Another opposite field. So now they're starting to place the ball a little bit. And Jared can do that by pitching to a certain part of the hitter's bat. And I wouldn't be surprised if they start trying to go to right field a little bit more here.
I got one here.
That, they're going to change out that ball.
So Kyle Lewis at the plate.
I think the pitch changed enough on that ball when it was hit. And sometimes that'll happen because the ball gets hit on the speaker. I think they're going to get a new one into play.
By the way, all 6 batters now have scored at least once today for the Thunder.
And that's a common thing. In fact, I think that that's something that they strive to achieve, is to get all of their hitters to base. And they've already done it, and we're in the 3rd.
Ground ball, not far enough, close to the 40-foot mark. First strike.
You know, again, you got the Thunder stringing together some runs here, and so now the Edge need to step up and get a put out if they can.
Ground ball will clear the 40-foot line. Runner on the first base bag, out.
Yeah.
Well done. It's Corian White in the field that makes the play.
And Corian and Eric were holding down the short positions on the Thunder defense through all of those years, so they're used to playing together up there. So is Miguel Tello. And Corey White. The Edge have 4 former Thunder standouts, and the Thunder in turn have a couple of Edge former standouts, Aaron C. being one of them.
Here's Tyler Rodriguez. Tyler 1 for 2 today. This marks the 3rd trip through the Thunder lineup. Swing and a miss.
Kind of nice to have a player like T.Y. at the bottom of your lineup. I mean, he's always makes contact. He's got good speed. He's got power.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
And he's fundamentally sound. You know, and Tyler and Eric, they started so young. I mean, they were in middle school.
Here's the pass.
By the time they got to high school, they were with Jared and Woodard winning championships with the Thunder.
Strike 3. No strikeout since the first for the Thunder.
Tyler was phenomenal last year with the Philly Fire, especially after Casey Krause got a little bit banged up, and Tyler had to carry a little bit more of the load. No team east of Indianapolis had ever won a world championship until the Philly Fire pulled off that run, winning 8 in a row at the World Series last year. Knocking off on the way the Thunder, the Gateway Archers. They beat the Archers twice. But now Tyler's back. He's looking to try to catch his brother this year, who has 7 world championships to his name. Tyler's got 6.
All right, here we go. We got 1 ball, 3 strikes. Play.
And we got a full count here, Rick.
Foul ball. Elevated, right side, in play,
Tough
and
play.
Close.
I think Jason Price called it safe on the field.
Corian White just couldn't elevate the ball in time.
2 former teammates going head-to-head there on that play.
Rodriguez hustling down the line. We'll take a look here on our side-by-side replay.
Those are two good athletes.
And again, just couldn't elevate the ball off the grass in time. So 5 runs in the inning. Second time through the lineup now in the inning. Jeffries 3 for 3. Only player to hit that mark so far today. Foul ball.
Well, as I recall, he was only retired once by the Gateway Archers yesterday, was Cody Jeffries.
I was watching. I knew where it was. I was going to go, bam! Although I probably would have pushed my hand into your forehead. But
I believe he's got the highest batting average of anyone in the league over the last 2 years.
Ground ball, left side. Past the 40-foot mark, and he's
Got
out.
him.
Rodriguez.
Eric charges up there to that 40-foot arc as well as anyone in the game.
So second out of the inning.
And the reward is now you've got to defend Zach Bueller.
Zach 2 for 3 today.
I don't believe he's been put out yet.
Correct. Struck out his first time through. Swing and a miss. Top of the lineup does roll back through in the bottom half of the inning. 2, 3, and 4. Ground ball, left side. Kicked by Rodriguez. And just couldn't get back to the ball in time again. That was nearly Rodriguez and Bueller almost careening into each other the way that ball was kicked back towards the base path.
And that's frustrating for a defender because he got, of course, part of the body on the ball, but, you know, Zach's so fast and he just careened a little bit too far away from him. And this is why, you know, part of what we do is the baselines are 10 feet off the foul line, so there is a 10-foot buffer zone for that very reason that you saw in that play, so that you don't have two players, one going toward the line, try to make a play, one heading toward the base, neither seeing one another, and you don't have a collision. It still happens sometimes, but in order for it to happen with that 10-foot buffer zone, the base runner's either got to be running into the field of the play or the defender goes into foul territory.
Foul ball by Holland, 2 for 3 today.
And that's also the reason we have the 40-foot arc. The ball's got to pass the 40-foot arc to be in fair play.
Ground ball, left side. Does pass the 40-foot line. Rodriguez. Got it.
Yeah, I think he got it.
Rodriguez gets the out, and 9 come to the plate for a second time for the Thunder, which means they have scored 6 twice. We'll take this 30-second break. Edge come to bat when we come back on ISC. Today's broadcast of the ISC Sports Network brought to us by Kane and Abel Orientation Mobility Services. Take a person's arm and they will lead you around the block. Give a person a cane and it will lead you around the world. Find out more by calling the number on your screen, 317-213-7031. Greg Rakestraw, Dave Benny with you on ISC.
Well, Rick, we'll see what kind of response now that the Edge have. They were able to respond in the first after the Thunder had a big inning. Now the Thunder put up 6, Edge down 5. But again, they are the home team, so they have the last at bats. What they just need to do is hang in there.
2 runs last inning for the Edge. They have scored in both innings so far. Corian White, 1 for 2 today.
So this is the heart of their batting order here, 2, 3, and 4.
Ground ball won't get past the 40-foot line.
Thunder have had 2 6-run innings already, but sandwiched in between a goose egg.
Corian ready to go. Swing and a miss.
Jeremy Lopez hasn't even gotten to 2 strikes on very many hitters today. There's been a lot of early contact.
Foul ball. And all outs in the field today for the Edge. 3-strike count here. Foul ball.
He was all over that one, just missed it.
The beeper part came over here. It's still beeping?
Here's the take.
All right.
With 3 strikes.
So they've gone as far as they can go here in this at-bat.
Ground ball, foul ball.
Corian maybe not with the power that his brother has, but it's a coin flip which one of them's faster.
Tremendous speed. Corey on the nod that he's ready. He has to swing here. Elevated. Past the 40-foot mark. Middle of the field. And he's safe. Rodenbeck couldn't get there in time.
What a clutch pitch by Jeremy Lopez. I got to say, Jeremy Lopez is a warrior right now. He's going toe-to-toe with Jared Woodard and the Indy Thunder, arguably the best team in the league, in their home tournament on their field. And he has not struck out a soul so far today.
Just nestle that in right side past the 40-foot line. Rodenbeck nearby, but could not get there in time.
That doesn't have to be a deep hit. You can get it in the air and place it like that. It's just as good as hitting one 150 feet. The only difference is if you hit one over 170 on the fly and it clears that line, it counts for 2.
Corey White. 2 for 2 today. Foul ball.
Speaking of home runs, Corey White, in addition to the walk-off we talked about earlier, he's homered on 2 different ISC telecasts here at this tournament. You and I called one, and he did it on the very first one in 2019.
Flies down the right field line. That one almost left the property. It's in somebody's backyard. The massive complex here at North Central High School. For those that are watching from outside of the Indy area, obviously with 2 Indy area teams, a largely Indy audience, but North Central, I always forget which between they and Warren Central is larger. Those are the 3rd and 4th largest high schools in the state.
What's the approximate enrollment?
Over 3,500.
Okay. So we've got a few schools like that up in the Chicago area.
Correct.
In Illinois. Not many. What's your highest enrollment, Ben Davis? Or
Carmel with
Carmel.
5,300 students. Ben Davis, you do watch ISC all the time, my friend. Ben Davis second, 4,500. Ground ball won't go the 40 feet. Came closer than thought, but let's say it went about 2 or 3 feet shy of that 40-foot line. So 3 strikes.
And we played this tournament at one time for a couple years at Ben Davis.
Again, to have 4 fields going simultaneously, you need a significant amount of space, which we have here at North Central.
Correct, and you need grass. You don't want to play this game on turf.
No. There's the take.
And that makes it tough because a lot of the soccer fields, which are conducive to beep baseball, are now going to turf.
Swing and a miss.
Wow.
The demonstrative reaction by Jeremy Lopez. White, the K, 1 down.
Well, and this is Corey's first game playing, at least competitive game, playing with Jeremy Lopez. So it's to be expected, but still, Jeremy doesn't like his first strikeout. He knows he can't give the Thunder free outs. Jeremy's a competitor. In fact, him and Jared Woodard squared off in the very first Beep Baseball All-Star Showcase a few years ago down in San Antonio. And their performance was part of the reason that has become such a popular event. I mean, they were just dealing all weekend long to some of the best in the world.
So Simpson back to hitting. Right side, past the diving Rodingbeck.
He's there.
So Simpson at his 1 at bat. Franco hitting his spot previously.
Oh no, they're going to give the put out. They give the put out to Rodingbeck there?
I believe so. We'll take a look side by side. It was close.
41.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like the Edge are arguing very much.
Up
so.
and off the grass. It was an out.
Good play by Rodingbeck. Now he knows how to achieve possession. He's been doing this long enough.
His first put out of the day.
Boy, the Edge really need a run here.
Wiley is 2 for 2 today. Simpson now 0 for 2 after that out was recorded. Wiley, line drive up the middle. Lined up by Bueller. Rodriguez, and going to be close. Wiley thinks he got there. To use the hockey terminology, unfortunately on Tyler, that went 5-hole. Went right between his legs. As Wiley hustling down the line.
Yeah.
Let's take another look here, Dave.
You want to close that up if you can. I don't think Tyler's going to like this when he finds out about it on film.
Yeah, that's absolutely safe. So 2nd run of the inning. And Wiley is now 3 for 3 today.
And, you know, Wiley always, no matter what uniform he's wearing, he always seems to play well against the Thunder. He was a big reason back in 2018 that the Bayou City Heat pulled that stunning upset and forced the if necessary championship game. I mean, the Thunder were huge favorites, and I think Ja'Cory Wiley went 5 for 5 in that first championship game, forcing the if necessary game, which the Thunder won. But it was pretty dramatic because it was one of the only games in 5 years that the Thunder lost at the World Series.
So Joe Fleeks.
Fleeks was a part of that too. Unfortunately, he got injured late in that first game, which affected their chances in the second one. Yeah.
Joe's made solid contact. He's just hit it almost directly at Thunder fielders both times. Second strike.
Fleeks is one of those, if he gets it on the right part of the bat, he can just hit it over everybody's head and make Zach Bueller run for it, or Justin Holland.
Fleek's going to ask for a little help from a glove or a strap standpoint. So new batting glove here for Joe. Were you a batting glove guy as a hitter, Dave?
Not really. We played in some real hot and humid conditions in 2000, my second World Series, and when I was real young, and my batting gloves actually disintegrated. And I quit wearing them after that. Now, if you can get the kind that that are good in wet weather, sometimes it can help protect against losing control, losing the grip on a bat.
Fleeks, ground ball, and does clear the 40-foot line. Rodenbeck got it, and that is the end of the inning. 5 to the plate, 2 score. We're halfway home. Thunder 12, Edge 9. Back in 30 seconds on ISC.
When a visit to the eye doctor ends in a diagnosis of blindness or visual impairment, Bosma Enterprises is there, providing low and high-tech tools that let adult Hoosiers keep living at home, and training that teaches people with vision loss how to cook meals, travel around their homes and towns, and continue their employment. Because the need for independence never fades, even when the sense of sight does. Bosma Enterprises. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org.
You see the sign for North Central High School. We're nestled back here behind the softball and baseball fields. We cannot do this without the cooperation of Andy Elkins, the tremendous director of athletics at North Central. I was going to see Jerry Wendell, who has played such a key part in this role from an administrative standpoint. Actually filled in the broadcast a couple of years ago for us as well. Want to thank our friends at Big and Small Paws, 317. They offer dog training and boarding, free dog training, consultations, and in-house private training with payment plans available. Plus, there's ADA training, group training sessions, and dog boarding packages, too. Call 317-630-2292 for more information.
And we couldn't do any of this without the support of our sponsors and the donors, the local Lions clubs that have helped out, the various sponsors that we've talked about on this broadcast, Mr. Elkins from North Central. I mean, and it's like that wherever we go. We're non-for-profit, and so we depend on volunteers and sponsors, and we appreciate all of them.
Foul ball. Dave, are you aware that Jerry and I are actually related to each other?
Jerry told me that, and I didn't believe him.
It is somewhat distant, but yes.
I'll believe you. I didn't believe him. Jerry.
C elevates this right side. Fielder circling. C hustling down the line. I think he got there. Miguel Tello was in the field defensively. And Aaron C gets the run, his second of the day.
The Edge can't let the Thunder pull away too much here, even though they have the last at-bats. It looks like now the Thunder are starting to take back the momentum thanks to a couple of putouts there in the bottom of the third by Adam Rodenbeck, who's all of a sudden stepped up. Yeah, Jerry Wendell and I were teammates for a while. He was on a coaching staff when I was a player, and now we serve on the league board of directors together. So I've known Jerry for about a quarter century, about as long as I've known Darnell Booker. Of course, for anybody who doesn't know, I started my playing career in 1999 in Chicago, but then I came over to the Thunder when I started college down in Southern Illinois in 2002 when they were in their infancy. So I watched this Thunder team build from the ground up.
Joel Talby now gets an at-bat in Kyle Lewis's spot. Talby yesterday was 6 for 7. Tell us about Joel.
Joel Talby's had a great start to this season. I think he's in his third or fourth year, but he made the all-tournament team out in Las Vegas when he went with a short-handed Thunder squad that won that tournament anyway.
There's the take, 2-1.
Joel is on the verge of being, one of those that's up for all-star consideration.
Swings and misses here.
And Kyle Lewis was struggling just a little bit, and so they made that change, and the Thunder have the luxury with the depth of their roster.
Contact made, ground ball left side, does to the 40-foot line, but Rodriguez is there.
Yeah.
And Dave, what does that mean?
That means he's out. That means that's lunch for Eric. And so Joel's a good contact, and he's good power. He usually elevates the ball. That time he didn't.
So 1 away. Tyler Rodriguez now due up. Tyler 2 for 3 today. That number 5 spot now 1 for 4 in the Thunder lineup.
Now that's kind of been their problem area. Other than that, they've had a lot of real balance up and down. Wonder if we'll see a Gerald Dicus sighting at some point in that 5th spot. They've just got a constellation of stars on this Thunder team. So Booker with a lot of tools in his toolbox.
Elevated, but foul ball. Right back to the pitcher. 1-0 the count.
Thunder organization, of course, started in about the year 2000, and they've had to build and rebuild and finally got it right and got a whole bunch of a crop of young local talent, and they haven't looked back. And you see the size of their roster, players and volunteers, and that's, you know, a compliment to the organization when so many people want to be a part of it.
Swing and a miss by Rodriguez.
It has pass ball. It has fostered some recent discussion about roster limits or caps on players at the World Series.
Contact made right side, fair territory, ball rolling away from fielders, and that will be a base hit.
You know, when a right-handed hitter hits a ball, like a power hitter like Tyler hits the ball to the right side, a lot of times it's kind of a miss-hit, and so what will happen is that ball will be hooking toward the first base line and away from the fielder. And we try to teach that, especially for the short fielders on the right side, the short defenders, is if you've got a right-handed, you know, power hitter and he hits the ball over there, it's usually, a lot of times, it's a miss hit. It'll be spinning, and it's going to kick toward that line. I don't know if that's what happened there, but it seemed like that ball was moving away from the defense.
You're having a dead ball call.
Oh, that's what it was. See? So, it's our second, I believe, dead ball.
Correct.
Of the game, which isn't bad considering the amount of contact there's been in this game and the hard hits. These balls have held up pretty well today.
Comfort Care Home Care wants you to know that their focus is to help clients live their best life possible. They're a premier non-medical home care company committed to their clients with their fall risk dementia care, inclusive ally, and veterans programs. This Comfort Care South Indy office won the 2023 Franchise Office of the Year. They're a proud supporter of Team Indy Thunder. Thanks, Jordan Shue, Kyle Donlin, Dalton Cox, David Kahn, Greg Sharton, Sierra Borkowski, Caleb Gross for all their hard work today.
They make calling a game very easy and enjoyable.
Foul ball right side. Well, Dave, you've heard me say a variation of this before, and literally mentioned this the broadcast. We had state championship games yesterday, Indianapolis Indians baseball yesterday, Indy 11 women's soccer and beat ball, and we'll do literally hundreds of events, but this is toward the top of the list in terms of things that are just so cool, so unique, and so awe-inspiring to watch what these athletes do here at the annual Beat Ball Bonanza.
It's once a year, and we've got so much local support that it's sort of become now a staple in the Indianapolis, especially in the Broad Ripple area, where I call kind of Booker the honorary mayor of. Oh, it's no honor.
He's full on mayor at this point.
Yeah, and they've all gotten behind this Thunder organization over the years.
Ground ball, right side, diving past one fielder. Can Tello get there in time? No.
Wonder what happened. Now it's a play Tello usually makes.
Well, Tello was playing a little deep. We would have had to come forward to make the play. Just a bounding ground ball that kind of worked its way between 3 or 4 fielders. Here's a replay, Dave.
So again, once it gets out there, the clock's ticking on being able to make the play.
Fleeks, Tello, amongst those that were in the area, Jason Dobbs as well.
If you've noticed, Jared and the Thunder are starting to work the right side of the edge defense a little bit more than maybe they were the first couple innings of the game.
Here's Jeffries. Jeffries retired as an out his last time up. First time that's happened today. He's 3 for 4. Elevated, center of the field. And Jeffries, safe.
That is vintage Cody Jeffries. Gets it up, gets it into the middle of the defense. Now Cody and Justin Howland are reunited here with the Thunder. They both came up together with the Atlanta Chaos. Cody is from Georgia, and so those two really kind of wanted to play together, and I think that was part of the impetus for Justin Howland leaving the Archers and coming to the Thunder this year. Cody had settled in, is very comfortable with Jared, and those two wanted to hook back up. It's kind of a cool story.
So 15-9 Thunder. This is their 5th trip through the lineup. Foul ball by Bueller. After striking out his first time, has scored his last 3.
Yeah, he's hard to put out, too, when he puts the ball in play because of the combination of power and speed, just like Jeffries and Howland, so many of these others.
Bueller elevates, middle of the field. Tailing away from a fielder, and
that was a shot.
Hey, I'd have waited leg out a 40-footer. Was it? Yeah.
Right on the meat of the bat. That sounded good coming off of his bat.
Watch him deep, I told you!
Bueller, no problem on that one. 4th consecutive run scored for Zach, native of Fort Wayne. So the Thunder will bat around this inning. They have done that twice in their 3 previous innings. It has been feast or famine. 6, 0, 6, and now 4.
Well, and of course, Fort Wayne, Indiana is, or at least was, the training ground. That's where the location of the training facility for the goal ball Team USA.
Foul back.
I think that has since moved to Colorado Springs, but Jerry would know the answer to that. So, yep, Zach's been up in Fort Wayne for a while.
Holland 2 for 4 today. Elevated, left side, Rodriguez charging.
No.
And safe. That ball literally stops at the 40-foot and fair line. Now it hit in fair territory first. Rodriguez just couldn't get to it in time.
That's a tough play, and on these fields it's going to hit, and it's not going to come out any farther. And there was probably a little backspin on that ball too.
Now, yesterday the Thunder flirted with getting into run rule territory. They were just shy of a 12-run lead a couple of times. They're not there yet at 17-9, but you're starting to formulate that idea. So just in case, Dave, let's talk about the run rule here in beat ball.
Well, and first of all, and the difference yesterday was the Thunder were the home team. So the 12-run rule doesn't take effect until the end of a full inning.
Correct.
But if a team is ahead by 12 or more runs at the completion of an inning.
See, ground ball, left side, fair ball, hustling down the line, and safe.
As they add another run. But if a team is ahead by 12 or more runs at the completion of the inning, the team that is trailing will come up to bat and will continue to bat until they either use up all of their remaining outs for the game or tie or take the lead. If they should tie or take the lead, which is rare but not unprecedented, then the team that originally invoked the 12-run rule will then get to use up their outs until they either use them all up or take the lead, at which time the game's over. So it's sort of a mercy rule that just doesn't automatically end the game. It sort of encourages participation. That's another one that's sort of been debated around league circles for a while, whether we should just go to a 15-run.
Talby, line drive. That will make its way all the way to our camera support. That is
Keep rolling. Even in tall grass, and it's rolling, and the Thunder are rolling now. And you see what they're doing, and we've seen this so much from the Thunder now. They've gone into this up-tempo offense where Jared's hitting first or second pitches, and they're putting the ball in play, scoring. And then as soon as they score, they've got the next person up. They've got the next player up to the plate, ready to go. So it's just kind of like wash, rinse, repeat. And this is how they can, and the defense just doesn't have any time to catch their breath, let alone your broadcasters here. And this is how the Thunder can literally run teams out of games. It's amazing.
They were going to have a dead ball call on Talby's hit. He literally hit the sound mechanism out of the ball.
And that's unfortunate because that's the type of thing that can break up just what we were talking about, because now you've got a delay. Well, they get a new ball in play. Never mind, you're taking the run off the board. And that's got to be irritating to Jared because you saw, I mean, they were really rolling with that fast-paced offense that other teams now have tried to copy. You know, the other teams are now trying to do some of what the Thunder, almost like the effect that Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors had on the NBA.
Talby swinging a miss.
Where teams are sort of copying the style of the Indy Thunder because it worked so well.
Strike two. Talby a putout last time, up on a ground ball to Rodriguez. There's the take. Strike three. One more opportunity here.
I'd like to see him put it in play here. That was bad luck on that dead ball.
Ground ball, left side. Base, left side. Fielder has it lined up. That's Dobbs. Out. Good play by Dobbs in the outfield.
Dobbs has been making plays in the outfield this year. He's another one that did perform very well. Was part of the reason that the Edge were able to defeat the Gateway Archers 9-7 in the championship game a couple weeks ago of the Sooner State Invitational. So Jason Dobbs, and he's a veteran. He played with a team called the Kansas All-Stars. That was a juggernaut back in the day. That was the other team that Jared won his championship with as a kid. And Dobbs has been around for 15-plus years. He knows how to play on tough fields and tough conditions.
So
He's solid.
Both outs has been made by Talby so far. Rodriguez at the plate. Before he takes his swing, let's again thank our friends at the Shop Indy. Thanks to Brian, Joe, Alex, all the good folks at the shop. In the heart of Broad Ripple on Broad Ripple Avenue. Of course, always online, theshopindy.com. Locations downtown, Mass Ave, and College, and Broad Ripple as well. Get your Pacer swag and everything else, theshopindy.com.
See if the Edge defense can end it right here before that lineup flips over again.
Elevated, left side, base running, left side. Pass Dobbs, couldn't get there in time, and safe. Wiley, the player closest to it, to give Rodriguez his fourth run of the day.
Out of the sixth spot, and he's got 4 runs on the day. It's a nice luxury to have.
So a 7-run fourth, most explosive inning for the Thunder so far.
Well, and the Thunder defense has started picking up, so that's why now they're starting to stretch this lead. And the Edge are going to have their bottom of the fourth. But it would behoove them now as you get into this part of the lineup with Jeffries and Bueller and Holland. Get that out before you get down 15, 16 runs or so forth, because now you're chasing just to stay within the 12 run.
Jeffries 4 for 5. First pitch swinging, knee-high offering, misses. Elevated, center of the field.
Oh,
And
just landed.
Safe.
Two defenders said over, meaning the ball was over their head, and then it came down, and Cody was at the base within about a second and a half after that.
Jeffries joins C and Rodriguez that have scored twice here in the inning. First player to score 5 times in today's game. Jeffries had 8 runs in 3 games yesterday. Zach Buehler was yesterday's leading scorer with 9. And the Thunder scored 59 in 3 games yesterday. They're obviously trending in that direction here at 20.
I had him unofficially 59 runs and 86 plate appearances for through the day yesterday, and that was rotating, 17, 18 players in, so it wasn't just with this lineup.
Buehler, ground ball, left side. Rodriguez has it.
Well, play. Rodriguez on Buehler. That's as good as it gets.
And with that, we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Thunder, again, an 11-run lead against their crosstown rivals. Back in 30 seconds on ISC.
We welcome you to Victory Field in downtown Indianapolis. Way back, way out of here. That's a home run. He's one of the best hitters in the league. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Warm up the victory bell. A walk-off 2-run single.
Want to thank our friends at Bright Ideas, your logo on everything under the sun. Now located at 9855 Cross Point Boulevard, Suite 116 in Indianapolis. And thanks to everythingbroadripple.com, proud sponsor of the Indy Thunder. Everythingbroadripple.com is your one-stop site for the Broad Ripple Gazette, Random Ripplings, local news, calendar listings, maps, and local business directories, as well as all of our Broad Ripple histories, stories, and photos. And again, a largely Indy audience, but for those watching from outside of the Indy area, we're at North Central High School. I could point, Broad Ripple's right over there. It's kind of the next neighborhood south of us. And I have now lived there for more than 20 years. It is a wonderful place to call home.
It's a happening place. Butler University not too far, right? And,
Correct.
So it is. It's kind of got a little bit of that college neighborhood feel to it. A lot of good places to eat, watch sporting events.
My waistline would attest to that, yes, sir. So Rodriguez, top of the lineup, rolls back through.
Yeah, the Edge need to get some of these back because eventually you start running out of outs.
Ground ball, and stops before the 40-foot line. Rodriguez, 2 for 3. Scored twice in the opening inning. Retired as the 3rd and final out of the 2nd.
So an 11-run spread, and as you said, the Thunder just can't quite get to that 12-run situation. They were up by 11 runs twice yesterday when innings ended, and they were the home team with a chance to put the Archers down. And to the Archers' credit, they wouldn't let them do it.
Ground ball. And again, that stops just shy of the 40-foot line. Well, Rodriguez is getting his steps in. 2 strikes.
That was a quick call there, too, even though it was a foul ball by the field spotter. I don't think we've talked much about the field spotters. The fields are separated into zones, and when the ball is hit, you'll have one of 2 spotters, one on each side of the field. Depending on which side of the field it's hit, one spotter will call out a number corresponding to a zone. And that's all they're allowed to say during the play. If they say anything else, it's called a double call, automatic run.
Swing and a miss. 3rd strike. 1 more to go.
So if you've heard maybe in the field mic, after a ball is put into play, a spotter right away yell out a number like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 1 6. That corresponds to a part of the field, and it gives the defense first indication where the ball is going.
Line drive, right side, pass Bueller, still rolling. Should be safe.
That was clubbed. That got past Bueller in a hurry.
Holland was able to get there, but before Rodriguez got to the base, he scores for a third time. Only player that is yet to be retired is an out today for the Edge. It's Corey Wiley in the number 5 position.
And that's interesting because he's another one. This is the first time I've seen Ja'Cory Wiley. I mean, he played yesterday, but this is the first tournament I've seen Ja'Cory Wiley play in this year.
Here's Corey on White. And the Edge have scored in every inning. But they've scored just 2 in each of the last 2 innings. And given the high-powered nature of these 2 teams, it's not going to be enough. They have 9 outs to make up 10 runs. Swing and a miss. Corey on 2 for 3 today, as is his brother Corey.
Yeah, the Edge have been putting up runs every inning. The problem is the Thunder have been winning the last couple of innings, and so they're getting more and more separation as the game goes on. You feel like if the Edge can get within 6 going into the last couple innings or somewhere thereabouts, that they're still in the game and they still have a chance because they're explosive also. But right now, the Thunder are in control.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
And the Edge are a little more deliberate.
Foul ball.
They don't work. Jeremy doesn't work quite as quickly, at least not yet. This is his first year with this team. But he doesn't work quite as quickly as Jared does.
Swing and a miss. So 4-pitch strikeout, 1 away. Just the 2nd strikeout of the day for the Edge.
That's a little bit surprising. And you know, at this point of the game, you can't have that.
So Corey White's the other strikeout after he scored his first 2 times up.
And you can sort of tell by the communication out there now, the Thunder are becoming a little more livelier, and the Edge sort of, you know, they need a spark.
Elevated, right side, foul ball, foul ball. And again, spots 4 and 6 have yet to get a run today for the Edge. And I bring that up because this is not just number 3, but hitter 3 in the lineup in Corey White. Kyle Kennedy offering some encouragement from the sideline for the Edge.
Kyle Kennedy's still a big part of the Edge team, but Jeremy has taken the reins as pitcher this year.
Swing and a miss. Foul ball. Strike 3. It has a pass if he needs it. Foul ball. Really working on that uppercut swing to pull that ball left side. It does exactly that. Ball left side, Bueller. Can he get there in time? Nope. Made the diving effort, ball bounded past him. Corey White scores and makes it 20-11.
It was a good effort by Bueller, but that's a tough play there with Corey. And another kind of clutch pitch there. Jeremy was struggling a little bit with the White brothers, but he got Corey there when he needed to. They need to get something out of Grant Simpson here, though. Like you said, it's been the 4 and 6 spots in the lineup that have been a little bit of an issue for the Edge.
And they're going to have Franco come back in and bat in this spot, so we have all seen them alternate who gets to hit here. Franco made great contact, just hit it right to Aaron C.
Now, in previous years, they would have had Nick Mulheron somewhere in this lineup. He's not available this weekend. So that's one big stick option they don't have. Let's see what this young guy can do, or this newer player can do. Jacques Franco.
10 for 14 yesterday. He and Corian White led the team in runs scored a day ago. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss.
The contact not quite as crisp here as it was earlier in the game for the Edge. It's taking more pitches for them to put the ball in play.
Swing and a miss. We'll see if there's a pass here. Swing and a miss. So 4-pitch strikeout, second of the inning, 2 away.
Two runs in this inning is not going to cut it for the Edge. So now it falls to Jacori to try to keep his perfect day intact. And the Edge also, of course, missing Caleb Wright, who is a big bat for them. I don't think he's hit a home run this year, but he hit a couple last year. Hit 2 in one game.
Contact, right side, fair ball, and safe. Wiley does it again. He's 4 for 4.
He's going to be a weapon for the now. You know, I would not be surprised once the Edge are at full strength at the World Series if Jacori isn't holding down the 6th spot in that lineup with his contact and his speed, much like Tyler Rodriguez for the Thunder.
Ball caromed off the chest of Holland, just couldn't corral it in time.
Part of it is having your hand somewhere close so that if the ball does carom off of your chest or your midsection, you can collect it. The idea is to get, center mass, to get the biggest part of your body on the ball, give yourself the best chance to block it, but then you got to pick it up.
Here's Fleeks. Again, hammers it. Left side past one fielder. Aaron C. has it.
That's 3 big plays today by Aaron C., and that one prevented them from turning the lineup back to Erod, and it ended the inning. That might be, circle that one. That might be a big play in this game, too.
8-run lead after 4 for the Indy Thunder. You're watching the annual Beat Bowl Bonanza from North Central on ISC.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to cook meals safely. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired. Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to travel around their homes and towns. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
Tito's Handmade Vodkas. Love at Tito's program has a goal of turning spirits into love and goodness, and does so by joining forces with nonprofits to host events, participate in service projects, and give back to their communities in meaningful ways. Tito's paved the way in the early days by donating his vodka to local nonprofit events. Now Tito's continues to empower employees, customers, and fans to make the world a better place through love at Tito's. Thank you, Tito's, for your support. Well, first pitch of this inning about to take place, but there was a ceremonial first pitch that took place earlier this week at Victory Field. And the Indianapolis Indians charity's become a big partner to the Indy Thunder, Dave, over the last few years.
Yes, they have. They've been a big partner for the Indy Thunder, and Jared Woodard got opportunity to throw out the first pitch at Victory Field, and I'm sure that was cool for Jared because Jared was a pitcher in high school for his baseball team, and he wasn't a bad one. I'd say he's probably a better beat ball pitcher. He's got more championships, but he pitched for Newton Community High School in the town I happen to live and work in now, over in the southeastern part of Illinois. So Jared's an athlete. He played football as well. He was a little safety.
Some of the other games are actually wrapping up on the other fields. In all the placement games today, this is the championship game. 2 winners of their respective pools.
Gateway Archers and Philly Fire played for 3rd. Chicago Comets, Cleveland Scrappers for 5th. And Oklahoma Lookouts and the all-women's St. Louis Sirens team played for 7th.
Ground ball, left side. Holland, can he get to the base in time? Yes. Took a tumble. I hope he's all right. Yeah, he's down.
He's hurt.
He hit the base and not kind of intentionally, kind of stumbled over the base.
And that can happen. One of the most common ways for people, we saw it last year in this very game, you and I, with Casey Krause. And Casey Krause was able to play a little at the World Series, but it affected his availability for the rest of that season. That was a shoulder. I don't know what this is.
Thankfully, Holland's about to get back up. Hopefully, it just kind of stunned him.
Sometimes you knock the wind out of
Correct.
yourself
Yep.
when you hit the ground and you hit it, you hit it wrong. They try to teach, much like in wrestling, they try to teach you to learn to fall. But sometimes that base can come up on you a little bit quicker than you expect, and you either step on it or you just, you go over it. And I know, as a pretty small and wiry guy that I was when I was a player, I mean, I knocked the wind out of myself several times. I didn't have much padding when I hit the ground.
That's a case where Holland literally kind of clipped it with his knee on the way by and then kind of stumbled after the fact. But again, I think you diagnosed it properly. Kind of took the wind out of his sails because it stunned him that he went to the turf. It's one thing when you're diving for the bag, you're going to have that impact. He was not braced for it. And thankfully, he appears to be all right. Another leadoff run. And for the Thunder, other than the inning in which they were retired in order, their leadoff man has scored the other 4 innings.
Now we'll see if Holland comes out to play defense in the bottom half.
Out his first 2 times. Has scored his last 3. The story for Aaron has been his fielding in today's game.
Yeah, he's had 3 putouts in that midfield position that have been, and of course, and that last one was huge.
Ground ball, left side, just does clear the 40-foot line. Can Rodriguez get there? Got it. Just got him.
Eric, just enough speed to get up there. Aaron C., not known as much for his speed as for his pop. He doesn't like hitting ground balls. Let's see if they can get something out of this 5th spot in their lineup. That's been the bugaboo for the Thunder today.
The ball, once it came to its resting place, Rodriguez able to gobble it up as he always does. So 1 in and 1 out for the Thunder. Talby hitting for Lewis in this position.
Okay, they're going to give him another at-bat. He's hit a couple ground balls, and he's 0 for 2.
Yeah, he had one he absolutely crushed. Unfortunately, hit it so hard it deadened the ball. He had to come back to have another try. And ground ball out. This time ground ball. Right side. Fielder and Dobbs has it lined up and out.
Ground balls are going to get picked up ordinarily by both of these defenses.
I said Dobbs. That was Simpson. My apologies. But the end result the same. Edge get the out. 2 down.
And this is an important game for players like Grant Simpson, and here's why. Grant's in his 2nd year in the league. Bayou City was in the top half of the league last year, but they weren't, you know, they weren't really in contention for a championship at the World Series. So while they played in some big games, this is probably the biggest game Grant Simpson has played in. And this is probably the toughest team he's played against. So what this is going to do is it's going to make both of these teams better by the time they get to the World Series in St. Louis in the last week of July here.
Rodriguez elevates this. Short field, left field.
His
brother got him.
His brother just put him out on a great play. Oh, fantastic play.
Tyler Rodriguez hustling down the line. Eric got to him first. So 3 successive outs, just 1 run for the Thunder. This game will go the full 6 innings. 21-12 through 4.5 as you're watching on ISC.
Hey there, my name is Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
And we are part of, actually, the entirety of, at least from an on-air standpoint, Query and Schultz on the ISC Sports Network. It's appropriately named. It's charitably award-winning. And Derek, now we venture into season number 5. Hard to believe.
5 of them. 5 of them. Can you believe it? 2 best buds, talking Colts, Pacers, Indiana sports, every Tuesday night, 7:30, ISC Sports Network, and on socials as well.
It is made possible, of course, by the people who watch and listen every single week. We are most appreciative. We look forward to season number 5.
Today's game presented in part by Kane Enable Orientation Mobility Services. Take a person's arm and they'll lead you around the block. Give a person a cane and it will lead you around the world. 317-213-7031. Greg Rakestraw, Dave Benny, our entire ISC Sports Network crew are honored to be here with you. Sun fighting through some of those clouds and sadly a little bit of wildfire smoke that we're dealing with coming from Canada. Final.
Yeah, I smelled it as soon as I stepped out of the hotel this morning. Look at this. So that last play of the inning. Now let's see if Eric Rodriguez with his play on Little Bro just fired up the edge a little bit. They're running out of outs, but they're still in striking distance.
Your mind works in a similar way to mine. I'm not sure what that says for the both of us, but I start counting outs when it comes to this late scenario. You got 6 outs to make up 9 runs. 3 more outs to go for the Thunder. Rodriguez, foul ball.
And how many times do you see you make a great play, you get to lead off the inning as it happens?
Even more of a chance when it's a 6-man lineup, but you're spot on. One of the unwritten rules of baseball. We'll have a quick ball change. Today's game presented in part by Comfort Care Home Care. I want you to know that their focus is to help clients live their best life possible. They're a premier non-medical home care company committed to their clients with their fall risk dementia care, inclusive ally, and veterans programs. This Comfort Care South Indy office won the 2023 Franchise Office of the Year, and they're a proud supporter of Team Indy Thunder.
Again, we appreciate all of our sponsors, supporters, spectators, fans, whether you're new to the game or whether you've been following it for years. And if you want to continue to follow along the rest of the season, www.nbba.org, or find the National Beat Baseball Association on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and even X, at NBBA 76. Or join the private Facebook group, Beatball Nation. Send a request. We'll let you in, and a lot of games are streamed from local tournaments and the World Series right there in that group as well. I will be in Bolingbrook next weekend.
Rodriguez, right side, and bounces over Holland. Holland, can he get there in time? No.
Nope.
It's close, but no.
Bad hop. So that answers that question. They kept Holland in the game, so he must have been A-OK. Otherwise, with the depth of their roster and having an 8-run lead now, they'd probably gotten him out of there.
Rodriguez 4 for 5 today.
Yeah, he's done his job. His put-out total is going to look a little bit maybe less than usual, but a lot of that has to do with the Thunder taking him out of the equation, much like they did Mark Morris yesterday. They couldn't get Mark Morris out for the Archers yesterday. Mark was, I believe, 5 for 5 or 6 for 6. But he only had a few putouts because they just were either hitting the ball over him, beyond him, or to the other side of the field.
Corian White will take the first pitch. He struck out last time. He's 2 for 4. Swing and a miss.
Beat Baseball will be in Bolingbrook, Illinois next weekend, right off I-55, southwest suburbs of Chicago.
Contact made, center of the park. Rolling ball, and White safe. Well, the run has started here for the Indy Edge.
Yeah, they seem like they've got a little bit more momentum. I'm telling you, that play that Eric Rodriguez made on Tyler really fired them up. I was wondering when we were going to see one of those Rodriguez on Rodriguez plays and which one was going to do it. Tyler made an incredible one on Eric at the All-Star game 2 years ago down in San Antonio. We saw that, and today the roles were reversed, and it was Eric making the play on TY.
So down to a 7-run lead. All these teams played 3 times yesterday. This is the lone game today and an early start to get those that have to potentially fly out of Indianapolis a chance to travel back home.
And both of these teams will be playing in the tournament I talked about next weekend.
Swing and a miss. Now, frankly, these teams get to save on budget because of how many events are here in the Midwest, including the World Series this year.
Well, but to their credit, the Thunder took a split squad. They didn't have a full squad, but a split one to Las Vegas in March. The Edge went to Moore, Oklahoma a couple weeks ago and played in that tournament down there. So they travel a little bit, and you got to have funding to do that. That's why we say our sponsors and supporters are so important. A lot of these folks wouldn't be able to travel to play ball on their own budget. So these two teams very well funded, and so that they can do it.
2-strike count. Corey White 3 for 4. Did strike out 1 time. That was his take. Contact made, elevated, right side. White flying down the left side and missed the base. He's out.
Oh.
Ran by the base, gave Holland time to pick it up.
That's lack of reps. And you don't see Corey missing bases very often now. He's so fast that when he first started playing ball, that was his problem, is he would fly by that base. But he worked so hard at it, he got a lot better at it. You won't see him miss a base very often, but lack of reps, lack of practice, that can have that sort of an effect.
And immediately Corey gets up, taps his chest, says, "Hey, that's my fault."
Well, we usually made him do 10 push-ups when you knock out 10 for missing a base.
So here's Simpson, and he and Franco have alternated at bats. This number 4 position.
Yeah, they're trying to protect.
Frankly, contact has been solid from both. Just have tended to hit balls directly at fielders. Swing and a miss.
Well, and there is a little bit of a drop-off in foot speed from Eric Rodriguez and the White brothers down to, Grant. And Jacory's still pretty fleet of foot, but maybe not as much as he was a decade ago.
Ground ball, right side. Base running, left side. And an out. Again, just made my point for me. Hit the ball directly to Adam Rodenbeck. Sometimes it's not your day. 2 down.
Well, but he didn't elevate it either. So, elevation is, again, so important. I mean, when you get the top-tier teams in this league, they're all going to have defenders, especially up short, that are going to make the routine plays.
So here's Wiley.
Again, they need a run out of him.
And Wiley is the only player for either side that has yet to be retired today.
So this seems to be a pattern here with the Edge offense. Eric Rodriguez and Corian White score. They're doing their job. And Ja'Cory, they're in the 5 spot. But they're having a little bit of trouble from 3, 4, and 6. And that's the difference in the game.
And thanks to our friends at the shop, Indy. You got Pacers Pride. They got plenty of shirts. Get your new swag just in time for the NBA Finals starting on Thursday. TheShopIndy.com. And if you're going to pick a shirt, you're going to want to pick like 5 or 6. If you're going to pick one, make sure it's Jake Query's Why Not Indiana t-shirt. TheShopIndy.com or brick and mortar locations, including in downtown Broad Ripple on Broad Ripple Avenue. So Wiley, 5th time to the lineup. He's 4 for 4. Line drive, middle of the field, bouncing ball, and just got there. Tyler Rodriguez just couldn't collect it in time. And Wiley gets the dap up from his pitcher for getting yet another run.
Wiley's red hot for the Edge. I'd say he's been their best offensive weapon today. The Thunder haven't gotten him yet, and he's hit the ball to different parts of the field to do it. It hasn't just been one location or one type of hit. He's sort of showing everything.
And Wiley's offensive numbers were good, but not this good. He was 8 of 15 yesterday.
Yeah, he could be a big part of a World Series run for them if he can keep this up with Jeremy Lopez. But now here we are at the 6th spot, 2 outs. You need a run. If you're the Edge, you really need a run here.
New ball here. Here's Fleeks, 0 for 4 today. Primarily on balls hit to Aaron C. today. Liner, middle of the field. Rodenbeck.
Got him.
Fleeks just could not get there in time. Rodenbeck gets 2 of the 3 putouts this inning. Edge scored 3. We get to the top of the 6th inning and a 6-run lead for the Thunder. We'll show you this going to break. Rodenbeck just in time. It was close.
Rodenbeck 4 or 5 putouts.
You're watching on ISC.
When a visit to the eye doctor ends in a diagnosis of blindness or visual impairment, Bosma Enterprises is there, providing low and high-tech tools that let adult Hoosiers keep living at home, and training that teaches people with vision loss how to cook meals, travel around their homes and towns, and continue their employment. Because the need for independence never fades, even when the sense of sight does. Bosma Enterprises. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org.
Thanks to our friends at Simplified Insurance Solutions, health insurance experts offering Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans, prescription drug plans, dental, vision, hearing coverage. Located in Lawrence, call Latrice Jeter at 888-340-7633. Craig Rakestraw, Dave Benning with you.
Let's see what kind of a cushion now the Thunder can add to this 6-run lead. These are just insurance runs now. The Edge will have 3 outs to play with in the bottom of the 6th. You know the Thunder want to be up by more than 6, and it is incumbent on the Edge defense now to not give up a big inning. You can come back from 6. Coming back from double digits or something like that is going to be a little bit longer of a stretch.
Jeffries 5 for 6 today. Working on the speaker for the base down the third base side. You see that work is being done right in front of your very eyes.
You have to Thunder should hold on to win this. Cody Jeffries may be in the running for tournament MVP based on what he's done on both sides of the ball. They do award all tournament and MVP honors here, in addition to the team trophy.
Well, to your point, Dave, Jeffries is now 13 for 19 for the tournament.
And he had a bunch of putouts yesterday.
Correct.
The Archers were really feeding his putout totals.
And 15 of them a day ago in 3 games. First pitch, a strike. Contact made, but foul.
Yeah, I would say tournament MVP, and it may make our player rankings look pretty smart, because it may come down to the top 3 in those rankings: Mark Morris, Cody Jeffries, and Casey Krause. Although Jeffries has the benefit of playing in this game today, and his team leading, 3 outs away from a championship.
Here's the pass. He has been retired 1 time. Every Thunder player has been retired at least once. Swing and a miss. Had some early strikeouts for the Thunder.
Yeah, I don't remember many recently here. Jared has been locked in.
There's one there.
I think that's only his 2nd strikeout of the tournament, though, Cody. So, again, you don't see that often. In fact, at least
3 strikes, not 4th.
Oh.
Now it's 4.
Now it's 4. Well,
that was a premonition.
Yes, it was a premonition, but now he's a strikeout victim for the 2nd time. I believe, based on the research that we've been able to do, is back as far as the league has kept stats, that Jared Woodard set a league record for contact percentage at a World Series last year for the Thunder at about 94% contact, which is amazing when you think you've got 4 pitches to get a blindfolded athlete to put a ball in fair play.
Buehler, a swing and a miss. Buehler retired as an out his last time up, and broke him a streak of 4 consecutive runs scored. Sends a charge into this one. Left side, away from Dobbs. Can Wiley get there in time? No.
Ooh.
Great hustle by Wiley to make a play on it, but Buehler got to the bag.
There was hustle on both sides that time. Buehler's just too quick.
Get this to the equivalent of left center field. In baseball, and again, Wiley, great hustle to get there, but Buehler just gliding by, got it with the left hand.
Kyle Lewis firing up his Thunder team. They know they're closing in, but they can't let the foot off the gas. The Edge are coming around. They'll have the top of their lineup up when we get to the bottom.
Holland 4 for 6. Elevates this right side. And just able to get there in time to the deepest part of the field. Miguel Tello got his hands on it, just couldn't elevate it in time. Holland flying down the line, gets his 5th run of the game.
Now, again, on most players, Miguel Tello might be able to be a heartbreaker and make that play, because that's what Miguel Tello does. He's an outstanding defensive player. Holland, a little too much air on it and too fast to the base. I don't think he's feeling any of the effects of that little mishap an inning ago. He's fine. And Justin keeps himself in tip-top shape. He's body builds. He trains off-season. So he's just another one of these that takes real good care of his body, and not just for a few months out of the year to play beat ball, but all year round.
C has scored 3 times. He's 3 for 6. The batters 4, 5, and 6 were all retired last time up. C, foul ball. Top 3 batters have all scored 5 times for the Thunder.
That's tough to beat.
Foul ball. So 2 strikes. Here's the take for Aaron. Just getting the timing right. Elevated. Right side and out.
We got him. Somebody was on that quick.
That would be Corian White. 2 down.
God, there's just so many great players in this game on both sides.
So Joel Talby will be his spot in the lineup, and he will hit here. Talby 0 for 3 since coming on for Lewis. He's made solid contact, just hasn't converted that into a base hit just yet.
Yeah, I have this spot, this 5th spot in the batting order between Tolby and Lewis, 1 for 6.
Correct.
Maybe missing one.
Nope,
1
you
for
got
6.
it. Testing the bases to make sure we're in good stead.
And again, this tournament coming up this weekend here outside Chicago is about as deep a field as you're going to find. All 8 teams that are in that tournament finished in the top 10 at last year's World Series.
Talby just past the pitcher. And safe. Miguel Tello couldn't get there in time.
That play needed to be handled.
Jared Woodard did a good job just to get out of the way of that one.
Yes, because if the ball hits the pitcher or contacts the pitcher at all, it's a no pitch.
Dobbs was in better position than he had given himself credit for and kind of veered out of the way. Tello couldn't get there in time.
See, you wonder maybe if Tello called him off or if he heard Tello and thought maybe that Tello had a better shot at the ball. I mean, Dobbs is probably going to defer to Miguel Tello most of the time in that situation, even though, as it turns out, Dobbs may have been in a better position to make the play. But remember, they're communicating. This is all by sound. They can't see one another and they can't see the ball.
Here's Rodriguez. Out last time, courtesy of his brother. 4 runs scored. Foul ball.
Yeah, they need something like that again here. The Thunder are starting to pile on a little.
Difference in this game, frankly, the 3rd inning. 6 runs for the Thunder in that inning. 2 for the Edge, and Thunder have kept at bay ever since. Elevated. Center of the field, and safe.
Thunder rolling again. Now they'll get back up to the top, and they've got, 5 runs out of their 6th spot in their lineup?
Correct.
That is the difference between, the Thunder and a lot of the other teams. Every team just about that you're going to see in the Beat Baseball Association at this point, they've got 2 or 3 great defenders, and they've got 2 or 3 reliable run scorers. But when you've got 6 of them up and down the lineup and a deep bench, that makes it tough to beat, especially when you get into the grind that is the 5-day tournament that is our World Series. And we can call it a true World Series this year because it looks like we're going to have Taiwan back. The Taiwan home run, after an 8-year absence, are going to be back this year. We don't know what they'll have, but we know it'll be good because it always is. it sounds like we'll have somewhere between, I was looking like 19 teams, 18, 19 total at the World Series this year. Registration ends today, so I guess we'll find out by midnight tonight for sure. June 1st is an important date in the NBBA because it's the deadline for roster submissions and a lot of things.
Jeffries, ground ball, left side. Rodriguez got it.
Boy, he ate that up. Erod's been playing some inspired beat ball here, especially the last few innings of this game. He's doing all he can to keep the edge in it.
So Jeffries makes the first and last of the inning, which is rare, but the Thunder take a 10-run lead to the bottom half of the 6th inning. I want to thank our friends at EverythingBroadRipple.com, proud sponsor of the Indy Thunder. EverythingBroadRipple.com is your one-stop site for the Broad Ripple Gazette, random ripplings, local news, calendar listings, maps, and local business directories, as well as all of our Broad Ripple history, stories, and photos. And again, thanks to Tito's Handmade Vodka and Love Tito's program. It has a goal of turning spirits into love and goodness, and does so by joining forces with nonprofits to host events, participate in service projects, and give back to their communities in meaningful ways. Tito paved the way in the early days by donating his vodka to local nonprofit events. Now Tito's continues to empower employees, customers, and fans to make their world a better place through Love at Tito's. Thank you, Tito's, for your support. Say to me, we'll have a player interview at the end of our broadcast today.
We had Cody Jeffries on yesterday. He was a great interview, and Cody and I have one thing in common, and that is similar college football tastes. Roll Tide.
So the top of the lineup, 10 to tie, 11 to win it. Most runs in an inning today for the Indy Edge, 5. Rodriguez 4 for 5. Hear the count out from the field.
I think the largest lead for the Thunder today was 11. It's 10 now. This is not insurmountable, but it's going to take one heck of a rally by Jeremy Lopez and the Edge offense.
Rodriguez first pitch swinging. Ground ball left side and safe.
Well, that's a start. That's probably not the hit that Eric wanted, but he'll take the run.
He scored his last 3 plate appearances. Solid contact. And again, a bounding ball that Rodriguez nor C could get to in time. It was the deep left fielder in Bueller that got to it eventually, but by that time, Rodriguez had gotten to the base. So Corian White scored his last time up. He's 3 for 5.
And, you know, just knowing Jeremy Lopez and his warrior mentality, if they go down, they're going to go down swinging. You can be sure of that.
And the Edge averaged 18 runs a game yesterday. Thunder at 20.
Well, and the first 2 Thunder games ended in mercy rules. They only hit a total of 4 innings of offense. So you take that into consideration. It can be a little bit deceptive. For instance, they beat Oklahoma 14-10 in the first game yesterday, but it was 14-1 at the end of the first.
Sure.
So they only hit 1 inning.
So we're doing a little repair work on the speaker down the first base bag. And you see folks kind of filing behind that fence there. Other games are wrapping up as we speak. This game's about the 2-hour and 25-minute mark.
Which is a long game in terms of, of beat baseball, but there's been a lot of runs scored today. We have had a couple of equipment timeouts. That the pace of play seems like it's been pretty good, though.
I would agree, yep.
I wouldn't have guessed it would have been 2 hours and 25 minutes.
You see the action wrapping up on the other fields.
And some people will stick around for the award ceremonies and to watch the rest of this game, and some folks have to get back because it's Sunday and there's a work week coming up and so forth, flights to catch. Most of these teams didn't have to travel too far, but you do have, you do have Philly here. But Indianapolis is a great location for a tournament because there's so many teams close by.
So Corian White is ready. Elevates this. Center of the field. And safe. Just couldn't get there in time. Jeffries just couldn't get his hands on it. Corian scores for a 4th time today.
Okay, so the magic number stays 3 for the Thunder, and the Edge have put up 2, so now the spread is they're chasing 8.
So Corey White scored 3 times, 3 for 5. He's been retired 2 of the last 3 times up.
Well, and 1 was on a missed base, so, you can...
Correct.
You can change that from a run to an out real quick. There's only been... Each team, I think, has missed 1. That would have otherwise been a run. Lewis for the Thunder and White for the Edge.
Right side foul ball. And again, after this, you roll to the bottom of the lineup where 4 spot 0 for 5, 5 spot 5 for 5, 6 spot 0 for 5.
Yeah, if they ever need contribution from everybody in the lineup, now's the time. And there's no tomorrow.
And Corey White uses that bat for a guide as to where his alignment needs to be.
I believe he was taught that skill by the Chicago Comets the first year he played. He played with the Comets and JT Herzog.
Swing and a miss. 2 strikes.
They're deliberate. They're taking their time, making sure they get it right here.
Elevates it. Right side. Fair
Tough play.
territory.
Tough.
And couldn't get it. Rodenbeck just couldn't get his hands on it.
Look, seemed like it took Corey a little longer to get down to that base than I would have thought. He missed it and had to come back.
But he got it.
Boy.
And he's doing those push-ups as we speak, Dave.
Good, because that's the second one he missed. So I think he actually owes 20, but he came back. He was able to recover on that one.
So 3 batters to plate, 3 runs scored. And the lead now is at 7.
Starting to get interesting, and I wonder who they're going to try out in the 4th spot here now.
Simpson 0 for 3,
Okay.
Franco 0 for 2. It'll be Miguel Tello.
All right, I was wondering if they might try something. Now, Tello is known as a defensive specialist, but he does have scoring ability, and right now they need to figure something out because they need a run. Plus, you wanted Tello and Jason Dobbs on the field at the same time. And they're kind of their flex players. One of them's got a bat.
Tello's 1 for 3. Not in today's game, but yesterday's action.
So you can see he's used sparingly as a hitter. He was Gerald Dykes' flex for all of those years with the Thunder while they were winning championships. And lost in the drama of the 21 title game because of Corey White's heroics, And the infamous double call on the Jets spotters late in that game that allowed an inning to continue was Miguel Tello making big play after big play in Zach Bueller's position in left field because Zach was training to play in the Paralympics in Tokyo.
Swing and a miss by Tello.
Tello's a big game player. And if he gets one here, it could get real interesting because then you're guaranteed to get Eric Rodriguez back up to the plate no matter what happens with the 5 and 6 spot.
Foul ball. So third different hitter to this spot for the Indy Edge.
Now, if they had their full roster, this would be probably Caleb Wright or Brandon Chesser, who both have home run power, but they just are a little short-handed.
Swing and a miss by Tello. 3 strikes, does have a take left. Ground ball, left side, fair ball, and
foot race.
Tello wins it.
Wow!
First
and the Edge are going
scored.
crazy. Jeffries needed to come up on that, huh?
Just couldn't get there in time. So now Ja'Cory Wiley, who is yet to be retired today.
That's a huge run. Nobody out. Now it's a 6-run spread.
Yeah, Jeffries had the ball get away from him, couldn't get back to it in time. So Tello scores his second run of the tournament. And most runs in inning today for the Edge, 5. That was back in the first. They have scored in every inning. 5 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth, and now 4 in the sixth.
And Jeremy Lopez has been here before. He pitched the San Antonio Jets after Kevin Simpson retired to 2 straight World Championship game appearances, losing both times to the Indy Edge. Once in a blowout and once on a walk-off. There is just no quit. They're fighting off the ropes here.
Wiley looking to make it 6 for 6. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Foul ball. And there's been some good 3-strike hits here from Edge players today. They have gone deeper in the counts than their Thunder counterparts have. Another foul ball.
Yeah, Lopez is having to use more pitches to get the results, but, you know, all is well that ends well.
Another foul ball, left side. It's turning into one of the lengthier at-bats of the game.
Boy, they're really battling. Just one of the more competitive championship games we've seen at this tournament in the last several years. You know, last year was an Archer's mercy rule over the Fire. Year before that, the Thunder won pretty convincingly over these Edge.
But a swing and a miss. And Wiley retired for the first time today, and there's out number 1.
That's tough. He had been on such a roll. Now they're down to 2, still chasing 6.
Fleeks. Again, Ball has traveled well off his bat every time.
He just hasn't had enough speed to outrun the Thunder defense, and they've been putting him out.
Came awfully close last time. But he has made as solid of contact as any player today. Ground ball, left side, past Jeffries, diving effort, Rodriguez, got him.
Tyler Rodriguez. T.Y., I think that's his first put out of the game.
Correct.
Although he's had some close calls, but that's a big one there.
Fleeks is down. I'll make sure he's all right.
Yeah, he's another one that has battled some injury issues a little bit here and there.
Made a great effort. That may just be frustration from.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. He's put the ball in play just about every time. And they've had his number.
So down to a final out. Edge 6 runs away. But they have given themselves a chance here in the bottom half of the inning.
Back to the top of the lineup. Either way, both teams have to be happy about their performance today. I mean, this has been a very well-played game.
Ground ball, left side, diving effort, Jeffries, and
got him.
Out.
That's the ball game.
And it was Tyler making the play on Eric.
Backing up, had his teammates back there. Jeffries made an effort. Tyler backed him up. And so what happens? Tyler flips the script and puts out his brother. Little bro puts out big bro to end the game. Boy, I hope everybody enjoyed this as much as we did. This was a great game. It was a 6-run spread, but both teams played about as well as you can expect them to play under these conditions. And I dare say, at least at this point in the season, I think that Indy has the two best teams in the league heading into now the later part of the tournament season and then on to the World Series.
Indy Thunder 25, Indy Edge 19. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back with some final thoughts and a post-game player interview as you're watching the 24th annual Beat Ball Bonanza of North Central High School here on ISC.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to keep living at home. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired. Bosma Enterprises gives Hoosiers with vision loss the tools and training they need to continue their employment. To give help or get help, visit bosma.org. Bosma Enterprises, visionary solutions for the blind and visually impaired.
Back for a final time. Darnell Booker's team victorious yet again. Handshakes and hugs being shared by both the Indy Thunder and the Indy Edge. Thunder win at 25-19. When it comes to the World Series in St. Louis and the Illinois suburbs of St. Louis at the end of July, who are the teams that can best compete with these two, Dave?
Well, the Gateway Archers are going to be tough. They played the Thunder tough yesterday, and they were missing one or two players. The Philly Fire are the defending champions, and they bring back most of their roster. But I got to tell you, right now, I mean, the Thunder have looked tough to beat even when they're on their B game this season, frankly, and when they're on their A game, they look significantly better than the rest. And then the Edge, to me, really looks like the second best team. But I think that if anybody is going to knock either one of these teams off, it'd have to be the Archers, the Philly Fire, possibly the Bayou City Heat, if Fonzie Madrano gets on fire and they're putting the balls in the air. But we've always been wondering if we were going to see an all-Indy World Series championship game. This may be the best opportunity. These are two excellent teams, and they're just going to get better. Sharp just made them both better. Made the players, made the pitchers, the spotters, frankly, and made the umpires better because it was a tough one to ump with all the close plays. So everybody just got better about the day.
To your point, and one of the things we've talked about with the Indy Thunder is tremendous depth. 4 players scored 5 runs today. Bueller, Holland, and Tyler Rodriguez all scored 5 times. Now, Aaron C. didn't have a successful offensive day. He scored 3 times, but defensively, and I think Aaron is heading back our direction, Aaron was fantastic today.
Yes, he was. He made 3 big plays, at least, in the midfield position. One of them ended an inning when the Edge were rallying. And Aaron's, in fact, he played so well down at our showcase last year that he earned top performer honors and an automatic invite to this year's case. See, watching him play, you wouldn't know his rookie. He's first 2021. He's one of the best. And that was the difference in the game. Balance up and down the Thunder lineup. The Edge, the top 3 in the 5 spot pretty well did their job, but they didn't get much production out of the 4 and the 6 spots in their lineup. The Thunder had a little bit of problems in the 5 hole, but overall just a little bit more balance. And in a 25-19 game, that's all it takes is one spot in the batting order, getting it done when their counterpart maybe is struggling a little bit. This is just a great ball game. It's a great beat ball game today.
Well, Aaron has made his way back here. A little assistance from our mutual friend Darnell Booker. Aaron, congratulations on the win. I know that you and some of the other guys have kind of played for both of these teams. What is the sense of rivalry like between the Thunder and the Edge?
I mean, when you have this big of a beat ball atmosphere here in Indianapolis, it's always going to be fun. There's going to be tight games, scrimmages, or in the championship, but there's a lot of banter and joking around. I know people think we're just hooting and hollering out there, but it's all in fun. Tensions get high, but the game, you want those games. Blowouts are boring. Tight games are fun.
Well, you were awfully busy in the field today. Tell us about the defensive aspect of your game this morning.
Yeah, I love being a two-way player, but, if I can't get it done on offense, I'm really just trying to lock in and see where I can put an attribute to my team. But, yeah, just, being on this team and practicing like, Jared and Booker, they just have such a good organization. So defense was never really my thing. You can ask DB, but I put a lot of work in, and it's starting to pay off.
Dave, don't let me hog the questions. Go ahead.
Well, let me just ask you, since Aaron threw it over to me here, you won a couple of championships with the Indy Edge, and offense was really your game. In fact, you were designated hitter for some of that, and your defense has really picked up in the last couple of years. Is there any drills or anything that you can tell, maybe younger players that are listening to how to turn into a solid midfield defensive player?
Yeah, I mean, we do like a 3-tier drill, so it's a lot of communication. You got to trust the guy in front of you. They're going to lead you to the ball. You got to get your ear, and it's more of a crouch and dive. But then it's just repetitions. It's getting different angles. DB, you never know. The ball's going to take a crazy bounce. Learning how to play certain fields, tall grass, short grass, and just trying to do your best to get your chest in front of the ball and hope it hits you and try to get it up and off the body for a clean put out.
Dave? Absolutely. It sounds like the Thunder practices have really helped you out in that regard.
Oh, yeah, and it's the same thing at practice. We're very, very strict on, hey, up and off the body, clean plays, clean plays, clean plays. We try not to, practice sloppy.
Dave touched on this. Aaron, you're relatively still new to the sport, having started playing just 5 or 6 years ago. Where do you begin to kind of say what this sport and this opportunity means to you?
I mean, I played college football, as you know, and it's such a different atmosphere, but man, I just love it. I'm 31. I never thought after, I left Franklin that I'd be able to compete at a high level. I'm super excited. I have such a great community. Me and my girlfriend are expecting. It's been nothing but support from the Thunder, and I can't say enough about this sport. It's saved me out of a dark time when you start losing your vision.
Well, you and I are both fans of Mike Leonard, and both Dave and I are fans of yours. Aaron, congratulations on the win today, and good luck in the upcoming World Series.
And congratulations on the upcoming new addition for
Absolutely.
you and Jessica, too.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
You got it, Aaron. Thank you so much. That'll do it for our coverage of today's event. Dave, final thoughts on the weekend that was here in Indianapolis.
Another great tournament. They've been doing it now for about a quarter century, and Darnell Booker and his tournament team do a phenomenal job. This has grown into one of the premier regional tournaments around the country. Every team in the league wants to come to this tournament. We saw great competition. It's going to roll right into many of these teams are going to be in Bolingbrook next weekend. So for those of you that want to follow along, make sure you hit up our social media and our website and our YouTube, because we'll be streaming games next weekend. I'll have the championship game for sure, and whatever other games they ask me to do. But we'll have 8 teams in Bolingbrook, and we just really appreciate all the support from around Indianapolis and this area for this tournament, for the sport of beat baseball. As you can see, Indy has become sort of the mecca of beat baseball here in about the last 10, 12 years.
Indy Thunder 25, Indy Edge 19. Goodbye from now from Indianapolis, and thanks for joining us on ISC.